Chapter 3292. Day after leaving the Geno Hall, Hansen thought about the various ways he might be able to gain a human body again. I do not think the God Hall leader will be able to help me. In that case, I will have to ask Night God No Moon for a solution. But where did Moon God even go? Hansen was feeling a little bit depressed. The universe was very large. Even if he was able to teleport to every inch of the universe, he would not be able to find her. Unless he was super lucky, he would be unable to find Night God No Moon. The chance of finding her in that grand cosmos was lower than the chance of winning the lottery. After Mirror Moon exploded, why can I not feel the ultimate egg? Is that thing still inside my body or what? Hansen lowered his head to examine his body. He had a spirit body, but it was different from the usual spirit body. His body looked solid. He could not see the structure of his body. He did not know if the ultimate egg was in there or not. Hansen tried many times to feel his spirit body, but there were no sensations to perceive. After the big explosion, his body's elements had not changed. Hansen was feeling very confused. If he did not become a god spirit, he would be like a dead man. Aside from Bauer and god spirits, no one would ever be able to see him. When Hansen returned to the Feng family castle, he did not see Bauer there. He did see Jianbugu trimming the hedges in the garden. Jianbugu looked in Hansen's direction and said, "Mister, you have returned. Can you see me?" Hansen was more than surprised by this. Jianbugu shook his head. "I cannot see you, but I certainly feel your presence. What happened to you? Why have you become like this?" Hansen was a bit disappointed. Jianbugu was very strong and could feel his presence, but that was about it. Jianbugu could not see him or hear his voice. "I have adopted the body of a spirit," Hansen said. "I do not actually have a body anymore." Jianbugu could no longer hear Hansen's voice, but he felt Hansen's will change. He felt what Hansen was trying to express. "I see. In the past, I was always able to feel the spirit bodies of creatures, but I could never actually see their existence. This is the first time I have been able to directly communicate with a spirit." After a brief pause to think, Jianbugu asked, "Mister, is there anything I can do to help you with your condition?" "There is no need. All you must do is take care of yourself." After saying that, Hansen prepared to leave. "Hold on just a second, mister." Jianbugu stopped Han Sr. "I have come up with an idea that may help you with your current trouble." Hansen stopped to ask, "What is it?" Jianbugu paused and said, "In East Soil System, there is a planet there called Day. There is a broken god temple there. If you go there, you might be able to find something that can help you." A broken god temple? What could possibly be inside there? Hansen was undeniably curious about the prospect. Jianbugu said, "East Soil System goes back to ancient times. At the end of ancient times, it was reduced to little more than a ruin. All life forces have ceased to exist there. Nothing lives on any of the planets there, and there is a lot of terrible radioactive pollutions. Not even god spirits would fancy living in such a place." After pausing, Jianbugu went on to say, "I used to want to max my sword skills. I went to East Soil System and visited the planet called Day. I found a burned and collapsed god temple. I did not just see a god temple in that condition either. It was like the entire planet had been barbecued. It looked like little more than a wasteland of charcoal. The god temple only had 3 or 4 walls, and many of the pillars were broken and barely standing. Behind one of the walls, however, was a flower. I was able to see it, but I was never able to touch it. A spirit was madly moving around inside there. I researched it for a long time, but I was never able to find much about it. Why don't you go there and have a look? I can't say for certain it will help you, but there is a chance it might." Jianbugu's words instilled Hansen with hope. There was a flower there that Jianbugu could not touch. And there was also a fallen god temple. There was also a mysterious system known as East Soil System. They were the key ingredients for a recipe that piqued Hansen's curiosity. God temples were supposedly indestructible. To break down a god temple, the power must have been insane. Plus, there used to be an original planet. Humans of the universe of kingdom started there. It was a mystery as to why that entire area of the cosmos was destroyed. The birthplace of the story of genes and original genes seemed to be that place. Hansen had nothing better to do, right? So he wanted to go to East Soil System. He wanted to see what it was like in a place humans originated from. He wanted to find the flower Jianbugu was talking about. If he was unable to locate it, that was still fine. Hansen could not touch anything. He asked Jianbugu to turn on a computer for him. He soon found a map that would lead him to East Soil System. After analyzing it and remembering it, he moved his spirit body to the East Soil System. The only thing I am proud of is the speed in which I can travel to wherever I want now. Hansen mocked himself. His eyes suddenly flashed. If no creatures can threaten me, why don't I go to the 33 skies and see what Qin Xiu is up to? Hansen thought about it, but still decided on going to the East Soil System first. He was going to wait a while before infiltrating the 33 skies. He was already in the East Soil System, so he was going to go to the planet called Day first. Hansen looked at the East Soil System and was given a shock. The planets there were black as charcoal. It was like the aftermath of a grand fire. But that was a big system. What kind of fire was able to incinerate so many planets at once? Hansen flew into the system. He was not in a huge rush to reach the planet called Day. The planets there did not orbit or spin. It was like time and space had stopped there. Only the scary radiation, which was everywhere, made people feel as if time was still in operation. Even gene races would not want to live in such a place. Hansen kept flying, but he did not see a single living thing once. That made him wonder if Jianbugu's flower was still there. Can life really exist on this planet? Hansen thought about this. He traveled through the scary radiation. He touched down on a planet. If an ultimate god spirit gene race decided to go here, the scary radiation was something not even it would be able to ignore. Yet it did not affect Hansen in the least. Is the planet called Day? Hansen looked around. He confirmed his location was correct. That planet was covered in charcoal. It was unknown what it once was. Aside from that, there was absolutely nothing. Hansen flew around the planet. He could not locate the broken god temple Jianbugu had mentioned. He eventually located 3 broken black pillars on a black ruin. There were also 2 broken walls that were almost collapsed. They were 6 feet high. It was hard to imagine there might have been a god temple there before. Chapter 3293. Purple Flower. I do not know if Jianbugu's flower is still here. Hansen looked at the broken walls and flew toward them. As he got closer to the broken walls, he noticed a person sitting next to them. To be more accurate, it was a skeleton. It was a skeleton just like the ruins in that it was black and charred. The skeleton's legs were crossed. It was leaning against the wall. Its hand was in a weird position. One finger was pointing to the sky, and the others were all pointing to the ground. Although the body had almost been charred into dust, it had an overbearing feeling that was exclusive to the sack of bones. Hansen said to himself, "Weird. To look at the shape of the bones, you would expect it was a human back when it was alive. I wonder why he died here. I did not hear about a human skeleton being here from Jianbugu's description of the place." This did not matter to him. Hansen walked past the skeleton. He walked around the broken walls and the broken pillars. He kept looking around that place, but he was unable to find the flower Jianbugu had described. There is no way Jianbugu was able to find something I am unable to find. Hansen looked around and searched the place top to bottom. It was all still the same. There was nothing special to be discovered. There is an 80% to 90% chance that the flower is gone. I don't know if someone just came along and took it, or if it was since wilted with time. Thinking of that, Hansen took another look at the strange, black skeleton. Perhaps he is the one that took the flower. Hansen approached the skeleton. He wanted to pickpocket through the skeleton's clothing and see if there was anything hidden there. Hansen's hands ran across the skeleton. He thought his hands would go right through the being, but it felt as if he was touching something solid. His hands were able to press against the skeleton. How is that possible? Hansen was both shocked and happy. He held the skeleton's arms with a tight grip. I can touch it. Hansen could not believe this was happening. Not even Bauer was able to press against his spirit body. Yet the skeleton could touch him. He could also touch the skeleton. Hansen excitedly reached out his hands to race them across the skeleton in search of something. He wanted to make a discovery. Why? Why am I able to touch the skeleton? What kind of power does this thing have? Is it the skeleton, or is it an item the skeleton possesses? Hansen's hands kept running up and down the skeleton. He was unable to find anything on the corpse. Wherever he touched, the black bones turned white. The skeleton's chest of charcoal fell out. It revealed what was hidden within the chest. It was a small, purple flower. Is that the flower Jianbugu mentioned to me? Hansen quickly tried casting away the charcoal dust that clogged the bones of the skeleton's chest. It made his gaze at the chest and the flower inside become clearer. Soon after, Hansen was able to spot a weird flower. It was a morning glory. The vines were growing alongside the skeleton's spine from low to high. A small, purple flower in the skeleton's chest. The skeleton did not collapse. It was supported by the growth of that flower. Since the bones were on the flower, there was only one small, purple flower. There was no fruit around it. There were only some green vines. Hansen thought, this flower has 13 petals on it, but it is the size of a coin. This has to be the flower that Jianbugu described. Why is it growing on this skeleton? Jianbugu had said it was growing by a wall, and not on some strange skeleton. He did not immediately try to touch the purple flower and its vines. He inspected the skeleton first. After Hansen touched the outside of the skeleton, the dust had almost come away. The bones were like snow-white jade crystals. They were like jade, and they were like snow. Hansen looked at them for a while. He could not predict how the skeleton had died there. There were no wounds on the bones, but the skeleton's power was very weird. It had 2 fingers tangled around each other. It made a very weird hand signal. This gesture would have been very hard to perform after he had died. Hansen looked at the skeleton. There was an 80% to 90% chance that after he died there, the flower grew into his chest. Did someone come here and see the purple flower, had trouble picking it up, and died here as a result? Hansen moseyed around the skeleton. He did not find any clothes that proved they belonged to the skeleton. Weird. Why did he die here? Did this flower kill the poor bloke? Hansen frowned. He stared at it for a while, but he was unable to discern anything more. The skeleton looked like it had been dead for a very long time. Jianbugu had only been there 30 or 40 years ago. That skeleton did not look like it had died as recently as 30 or 40 years ago though. If the skeleton came here before Jianbugu, he would have mentioned it. Did Jianbugu not think it was important, so he didn't say anything? Or did Jianbugu simply not notice the presence of this skeleton? Thinking of that, Hansen's eyes looked bright. Yes, it must be like that. Jianbugu did not see the skeleton. With my current condition, I cannot touch anything unless the thing is just like me, a spirit body. Is this skeleton a spirit body too? Are there other people in this universe in my condition? No, it cannot be that much of a coincidence. Perhaps it is merely the flower itself that is playing tricks. Hansen did not believe there could be such a big coincidence. There was no way a spirit person went to that same place and died there. Hansen looked at the flower and its vine. Its leaves were green and crystal-like. The flower had 13 petals. Each of them was like purple jade. There was a weird spirit power on the small flower. The spirit power was very strange, but it was not strong. It was actually very weak. It was like it was there, but it was not there. It looked as if it could fade away at any given second. Hansen could not tell what was going on. He hesitated for a little while, but he eventually grabbed the skeleton's arm. He tried to pull the skeleton away from the flower. Even though he had touched the skeleton was no threat to him. The only thing he worried about was the flower. Therefore, Hansen did not touch the flower. The flower was wrapped around the bones very tightly. As Hansen pulled the skeleton, it barely budged. It could only be shaken a small amount. Therefore, Hansen could not get the skeleton away from the flower and separate the two. In a pure spirit body, Hansen was unable to use his Geno arts. Hansen hesitated before letting go of the skeleton. He reached his hands into the skeleton's chest and did his best to try and grab the purple flower. Hansen's hands came into contact with the small, purple flower. The small, Purple flower's petals were like those of a dandelion. They fell and floated in the breeze. Hansen quickly tried to grasp the flying petals. Every petal he caught melted like water in his hands. Suddenly, all 13 petals melted away. They were all gone. The purple flower went away with it. The vines around the skeleton died. They turned into dust and scattered all over the ground. Chapter 3294. Sunrise Palace. When the flower died down, the flower's vines wrapped around the skeleton came back to life. They started to grow bones and flesh. Hansen was shocked by this development. Is this skeleton not fully dead yet? Is it going to revive? Hansen looked at the skeleton. He seemed hopeful. This skeleton was a pure spirit body. If it was able to be revived, the same was likely possible for him. That would at least stop him from being so bored. As to who this person was, whether or not he was good or bad was up for debate. Hansen didn't occupy his mind with such thoughts. The white bones started to grow flesh. The scene was incredibly weird. Hansen opened his eyes and watched the bones turn into a body that was wrapped in flesh. It took 30 minutes for this process to be completed. Hansen was now able to see what the person's face was like, but he could not see the face yet. It was still very bloody. Still, Hansen was able to tell it was a man. Eventually the skin grew. It soon started to look like a proper human. When the man's skin was complete and hair started to grow, Hansen stared at the man's face and frowned sternly. This guy looks like Dongxianzi. Hansen thought the man looked like Dongxianzi. In the sanctuaries, Hansen found Dongxianzi's body. He had the Dongxian Sutra on him, which fast became something very important to Han Senator. Without the Dongxian Sutra, Hansen would not have come as far as he had. He would have likely died a long time ago. Hansen had always admired Dongxianzi, but he was also always curious as to why Dongxianzi died in broken space. These were all mysteries that Hansen could not figure out. Now he was looking at a dead body that looked like Dongxianzi. It filled him with a lot of strange feelings. Not long later, the skeleton looked like a proper human. It looked like Dongxianzi. It looked like a worn, weathered and tough man. Even if the body is rebuilt, if the spirit is long gone, he will not be able to live again. After all, humans are not god spirits from the god temples. Even with bodies here, we cannot grow another spirit. Hansen looked at the man, who not moving at all. Although the power of the flesh was everywhere, he could not detect the presence of a life force. Looking at things now, that man did not look like Dongxianzi anymore. Hansen looked at the man again. Earlier he thought he was kind of familiar. Now that his hair was growing back and the face was cleared up, it did not look like him as much. It was just the face that was very familiar to him. Hansen peered at the man. He suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes were as deep as the ocean. It was like he had been the toughness and happiness that came with being human. Hansen was shocked. The man opened his eyes, but the presence of a life force was still absent. Hansen said to himself, "I forgot. He is a pure spirit body. Perhaps he can revive." The man started talking. "I am a Tao student. I am here to watch the flower. It is a shame the universe has changed. The daylight shines across the land, burning everything there is. I am dying. I cannot guard the other side flower anymore. I used the power of the other side flower to leave behind my soul message. If a Tao student comes here, I hope he will be able to watch the other side flower in my stead." The man was speaking, but his eyes had no focus. He was like a robot with a low level of intelligence. This guy is calling himself a Tao student. Is he from Wuwei Tao Palace? Hansen tried guessing. The man went on to say, "I have guarded the other side flower for many years. I have not done anything else since the day I started. I studied the story of genes for so long. There is much knowledge that is not in the party yet. It is all left behind here." When Hansen heard that, he was well and truly shocked. That man knew the story of genes. That was really unbelievable. By Mo accepted Qin Xiu's orders to find a way one could traverse along a path between the two worlds. Bai Mo's last words were of him saying he found the story of genes and an old crystal in an old party. Does that mean the old party is the Tao, and this man belonged to that party? The man went on to say, "I studied the human body. I researched the secrets of the universe. I sought knowledge of humans and their association with the universe. The story of genes is a human password for genes. It is a key to the universe. Hansen perked up his ears to listen to each word. He tried to remember everything the man was saying. The story of genes the man spoke about was not like Hansen's The Story of Genes. It sounded more like the reverse version of The Story of Genes. They were still a bit different. Hansen's The Story of Genes was a modified version. Not just other people had modified it. Even when Hansen practiced with it, he modified it too. The man was referring to an older version. Even so, it mattered little to Hansen. He forced the story of genes to reverse. And something bad had happened to him. Now the man was talking about those skills. There was no doubt that this was a big breakthrough. Unfortunately, Hansen had a pure spirit body. Otherwise, with the man's experience and the story of genes skill, perhaps he could make the story of genes break the world. The man kept talking. His flesh started to dissolve. He was turning into a spirit light as he vanished. That spirit body's spirit did not fly to the Geno Hall as an ordinary spirit would. After the man was finished, his body had almost fully dissolved. He became a spirit light. It was like spirit rain falling on dust. When the spirit light fell onto the black soil, the burned charcoal had no more life force. Now it suddenly had a life force. The dark faded away. It revealed the true colors of the ruins. Saplings were weaseling in through the gaps on the green stone bricks. Without the covering of the charred soil, Hansen could see a broken sign on the ruins. 2 words were written on it. Sunrise Palace. This was not a god temple. Is this place really a remnant from the original era? In the original era, you could not travel through space. The Tao members could come to the planet called Day. Did he use his own powers to reach this place? Hansen looked at the Sunrise Palace plaque warily. It was kind of like a ruin. Hansen really wanted to move the collapsed stones away and find out if there was anything useful that he could nab from what remained of the Sunrise Palace. Unfortunately, his body went right through the stone. Having a spirit body sucks, Hansen said with a sigh. He had to give up on that idea. The Tao party sent a student to watch the other side flower. Therefore, the other side flower should be something quite special. Why did it vanish after I touched it? Hansen looked at his hands where the petal had melted into. There was no trace of it there anymore. Hansen did not feel anything either. Chapter 3295. Meeting Wan'er, he did not find anything weird on him, so Hansen chose to ignore it. He was trying to remember the story of genes. In the past, Hansen relied solely on his own power, until he remembered everything that man had said. It was like he had copied and pasted the words into his mind. He did not really research the meaning behind his words though. Now that he did start thinking about it, he realized the story of genes the Tao student mentioned had a lot of mistakes in it. A lot of what he said was about the research, involved predictions, and so on. Hansen read it all at once, and realized the student did not actually study the story of genes. If he had studied it, the mistakes would not have existed. Hansen believed it was just a research paper, and not really a bunch of statements that came through via someone practicing the skill. Did that Tao member really mean it was research by calling it research? Did he not actually practice the story of genes? Hansen looked weird. After thinking about it some more, Hansen understood something important. The story of genes is too taxing on the human body. No matter how strong that Tao student was, he was just a human from the original times. The evolution level of his genes was not going to reach the requirements necessary to actually practice and find success with the story of genes. Therefore, all he was able to do was research it. Hansen continued to think. Someone in the Tao party must have practiced with the story of genes. After all, the black crystal armor is a sacred item that belonged to Tao. Someone must have used the black crystal armor to create the story of genes. Although that reversed the story of genes had a lot of mistakes in it, it still helped Hansen a little. Going down a muddy road was better than no road. What a shame. I am already a pure body spirit. Aside from spirit's powers, no powers can work on my body. I also cannot practice the story of genes anymore. Otherwise, I could try to put what I've just learned to the test. Hansen was disappointed. He was hoping to find a way to sort out his spirit body. So far, He had yet to find a glimmer of hope. He did not want to waste any time. He decided on flying to the 33 skies. If he was unable to sort out his spirit body, he might as well investigate and find out precisely what Qinxiu was up to. It was unknown if it was because of the spirit body, but Han Sen could no longer rip space. He only needed to think about where he wanted to go and would appear there. With this neat method of travel, he thought about Soldier Knife Sky and appeared there. Han Sen noticed that he no longer had to go to the God Chaos Party by breaking a tunnel in space. His spirit body was able to go through the 33 skies barrier. He was not stopped. I wonder if the sky powers will affect my spirit body. Han Sen's heart jumped. His spirit body floated on through, going through layer after layer of the skies. He eventually reached Dust Sky. In Dust Sky, any power was weakened. Even a god spirit would become a common creature in such a place. Back in the day, Han Sen had fought there and been put at a dire disadvantage. Now, with his spirit body appearing there, he was not affected. It was like the powers of Dust Sky no longer existed. That means I can use this spirit body to go through the 33 skies and reach the Geno universe. Han Sen was pretty excited about this concept. After thinking about it some more, he felt depressed. Even if I do go through the 33 skies and reach the old universe, so what? No one will be able to see me. It does not matter if I return or not. Han Sen felt very troubled. I should just go and take a look at what Qinxiu is doing first. Han Sen's heart jumped. It took him to the next sky. Fortunately for him, Han Sen had already asked Big Sky Demon for the old tower's location there. In just a few more thoughts, he was already brought before the 17th sky's old tower. That sky was where Qinxiu lived. Big Sky Demon had said that aside from Qinxiu, no member of the God Chaos Party was allowed to visit there. My spirit body is pretty nifty when it comes to traveling. There is nothing in this world that stops me from getting to where I need and want to go. Han Sen spoke in a self-deprecating manner to mock himself. The old tower was sealed tight. Han Sen came before it and went right through the front door. What he saw next surprised him. The first floor of the old tower was very empty. There were 4 walls and some metal boxes that looked like sarcophaguses for mummies. Han Sen calculated there were 11 metal boxes. He did not see Qinxiu, but he was curious about the metal boxes. He flew over to the metal boxes. His spirit body was not inhibited, so he was able to fly right into them. After going into the metal boxes, Han Sen was surprised by what he saw. A pair of red eyes were staring at him like a ghost. Han Sen had a closer look. He noticed that the eyes were not staring at him. They were just looking straight ahead. There was a creature inside, but he had no idea what it was supposed to be. Its body had many layers of a white substance. It was more like snakeskin. It was unknown what the creature might have looked like on the inside. Its eyes had 2 holes. The eyes were red. It was like the creature was enduring unimaginable pain and suffering. Han Sen figured it was likely one of Qinxiu's life soul test subjects. He was not interested in trying to find out what precisely that white stuff was either. After flying out of the metal box, Han Sen entered a few more metal boxes to see what was inside of them. Every metal box had a test subject that was molting or peeling in a horrid fashion. He teleported to the 2nd floor of the old tower. Everything there was precisely the same. There were many more of those metal boxes. Han Sen flew up layer by layer. The image of each chamber was similar. Some layers had many metal boxes, whereas other floors only had a few metal boxes. He went all the way up to the 10th floor. He saw a crystal stand in Wan'er, who was blonde, wearing a white robe. She was fast asleep on a crystal bed. She looked very sweet as she slept. Weird. This place is already the old tower's top. Why is Qinxiu not here? I thought Qinxiu spent all of his time practicing in the old tower. Han Sen looked around some more, but he could find no hide nor hair of Qinxiu. He thought something had to be wrong. If Qinxiu is not in the tower, where is he? Han Sen thought with a frown. He could not think of a reason as to why this could be. I wonder if I can touch Wan'er? Han Sen reached his hand out to see if he could touch Wan'er's hair, but his hand went through her scalp. He could not feel a thing. Han Sen was disappointed. Wan'er had a reverse super god spirit mode, yet their bodies could not interact. His spirit body was very weird. Hansen kept going back and forth around the old tower. The place was not as mysterious as he thought it might be. On top of that, Qin Xiu was not even there. Although Wan'er has been revived, she did not seem to remember all the time we spent together. There is an 80% to 90% chance that this revived Wan'er only remembers what happened in the Qin kingdom. What a shame that is. Hansen looked at Wan'er and sighed. If the Wan'er with a nice will still existed, perhaps she might have been able to affect Qin Xiu. She might have been able to convince Qin Xiu to not be so overbearing. It is such a shame that I have no way to bring your will back, Hansen thought. If he had the power needed, he would make the nice Wan'er wake up. That would be the real Wan'er. While Hansen was thinking, he realized his hand was flickering with a purple light. Chapter 3296. Going through the 33 skies. Hansen was shocked. He looked at his hand. It had a purple light shining on it. A small, purple flower revealed itself. It is the other side flower. Hansen looked at the little purple flower. It had 13 petals. There were no more and no less. This was the small, purple flower Hansen had seen before. As Hansen wondered why the other side flower was appearing on his hand, he saw one of the 13 petals fall off. It floated onto Wan'er's forehead. It was like a spring sun that was melting the snow. It slowly melted into her forehead. A moment later, the petal melted. Wan'er's forehead was covered with a purple, misty light. As this occurred, the other side flower that was on Hansen's hand vanished. It was like it had melted into his hand. Hansen's heart was rattled. He looked at the purple, misty light covering Qin Wan'er. Her eyes moved a little. It looked as if she was going to wake up. When the purple, misty light grew dimmer, Qin Wan'er's blonde hair turned black. She suddenly became the black-haired Wan'er Hansen used to know. Huh. Qin Wan'er opened her eyes, which were black. They were clear and full of life. They were like black gems without any dirt. Big brother. Qin Wan'er looked at Hansen. She looked to be in shock. She sat up and opened her arms to jump at Hansen. Hansen was confused. Wan'er previously mistook him for a big brother, because Qin Xiu's black crystal armor was inside his sea of soul. Now the black crystal armor was gone. Why would Wan'er still be calling him her big brother? Patong. Wan'er was unable to touch Hansen's body. Her hands went right through him. She fell on the floor. Big brother, what happened to you? Qin Wan'er dragged herself off the floor. She tried to grab Hansen's body many times, but she was unable to. Every time she tried, her grasp went right through him. It looks like Qin Wan'er is similar to Bauer. They can see me, but they cannot touch me. Hansen sighed. He looked at Qin Wan'er and asked, "You know that I am not your big brother, right?" Qin Wan'er was shocked by his words. She nodded but then shook her head. "I know you are not brother Qin Xiu, but I still think you are already my big brother." Hansen's heart felt warm. He wanted to touch Qin Wan'er's hair, but his hands kept going through her. "I can accept you as my little sister." Hansen withdrew his hand and presented a warm smile. "Great, but what is wrong with you, big brother?" Qin Wan'er still wanted to reach her hands out and touch Hansen, but she was unable to feel any part of him. "It's nothing. My body has a small problem. That's all. Everything will be fine soon." Hansen did not want to say too much about it. He casually asked, "Do you know where Qin Xiu went?" Qin Wan'er shook her head. "I remember Qin Xiu brought me here, and then I fell asleep. After I opened my eyes, I saw you. It was worth keeping you with me for so long." Hansen felt better after hearing all of that. When Qin Wan'er referred to Qin Xiu, she referred to him by his name, Qin Xiu. Whenever she referred to Hansen, she referred to him as a big brother. It made them sound closer. Hansen looked at Qin Wan'er. It was unknown what was happening to her. It was unknown how many memories she had. Hansen watched her look at him. Qin Wan'er seemed to understand something. She lowered her head and said, "I am Wan'er of the Witch. I am the Wan'er from the Qin Kingdom. Will that make you hate me?" "Why would I hate you? For as long as you think of me as a big brother, I will be your big brother forever." Hansen fondly looked at Wan'er. He patted his chest to double down on certifying his words. Hansen knew this all looked and sounded a bit childish, but he preferred to be childish than being blown to bits. He did not want to think too much about this matter. "Big brother, Wan'er was very happy. She reached out her hands to keep trying to grab Hansen's neck, but she was unable to grab anything. You should rest here. If there is a chance for me to take you back, I will. Hansen was not exactly safe where he was. Even if Wan'er could go along with him, he knew he shouldn't take her away right now. This was probably the safest place for her to be for now. Okay. Wan'er politely nodded. Hansen waved his hands. He bid farewell to Wan'er and departed the old tower. Since Qin Xiu was not there was no reason for Hansen to stay in the tower. He wanted to see if he could travel through the 33 skies and reach the Geno universe. If Wan'er was able to see him, perhaps Linger and Little Flower would be able to see him too. He really wanted to go and see his son and daughter. From ancient times, no one had ever been as strong as Hansen or able to travel through the 33 skies. Even god spirits with a spirit body required a god temple and Geno Hall power to reach the Geno universe. The 33 skies was a really odd place. It had many incredible and mysterious places. Even Hansen was surprised by what he saw there. Fortunately, his spirit body did not have to touch a single speck of dust. No form of power was able to repel or keep him down. If that wasn't the case, even if he was in peak physical condition, Hansen thought he would not have been able to make his way through the 33 skies. Some of the creatures that lived in the 33 skies gave Hansen goosebumps. In one sky, Hansen saw a type of ant. The ants were small like ordinary ants. They had wings and flew so fast. A group of these ants became like a black storm. Even if a break-world gene race tried to run away from them, if they weren't careful, they'd be devoured in a short amount of time. Not even a single bone would have remained. The life form of the flying ants was very weird. Although they were individual entities, in a group, they shared the same presence. The more flying ants there were, the more powerful they were. In another sky, Hansen saw a giant vine that went through the ground. The giant vine had many gene races and break world-class existences occupying it. Those gene races were not very scary, but the big vine was extremely terrifying. Even with the break world race gene races that lived on the stalk, the big vine was shockingly powerful. It was very a powerful existence. There were many such things in the 33 skies. The higher Hansen went, the scarier and weirder the creatures became. Weird. Outer sky is above the 33 skies. How can the 33 skies have so many scary gene races, yet there are none in outer sky? It made Hansen wonder if outer sky really was above the 33 skies. The 33 skies are quite scary. Not even Qin Xiu is able to punch through them in a short amount of time. Now I know a lot more about the 33 skies. If I can recover my true body, perhaps I will be able to beat Qin Xiu and become better than him. Hansen did not want the 33 skies to break. That would be very bad for the Geno universe. Compared to the creatures in the universe of kingdoms, the creatures of the Geno universe were like flowers in a greenhouse. They were trapped in the greenhouse to grow, unable to experience storms. There were not many break-world elites there. This is the last sky. Hansen looked into the sky. A spirit light was flying up. Hansen entered the last layer of the 33 skies. Chapter 3297. 33rd Sky. Hansen was shocked by what was in the 33rd sky. This was the final layer of the 33 skies. According to theory, this should have been the most dangerous layer. Everything Hansen was seeing was the complete opposite of dangerous. This place had a sea of clouds everywhere. It was like heaven. Amidst the endless sea of clouds, there was a tablet. It was like it was touching the sky and touching hell. Even from quite far away, one could make out the words scribed on the tablet. Geno tablet. Hansen noticed the giant tablet had those two words. It was not unlike the words Hansen saw on by most stone stove. Hansen looked around. In the 33rd sky, aside from that stone tablet, there was absolutely nothing else. Hansen's heart jumped. He went closer to the Geno tablet and walked around it. That stone tablet was rectangular. Geno tablet was written on each of its sides. There were only those two words. Aside from that, there was nothing else of note. Hansen could not determine what was the top of the tablet, or see what was on the bottom of the tablet. Although Hansen could reach anywhere with one thought, no matter how fast he could move, He could not reach the end. It was like the stone tablet extended to both sides with no end. No matter how high Hansen flew, he could not reach the end. What is this stone tablet? Hansen thought the stone tablet was not normal, but it was not a gene race. He at least knew that much. It did not look like some sort of sacrifice either. It looked really weird. Hansen reached out his hand to touch the stone tablet. He thought his spirit body would not be able to touch the stone tablet. After he had only just touched the stone tablet, it started to shine. The words Geno tablet lit up. Hansen immediately withdrew his hands. He looked at the stone tablet. The four sides of words briefly lit up, and then went dim. A mysterious voice was echoing from the stone table. It said, Geno evolution has not reached the necessary requirement. The Geno tablet cannot be opened. The Geno tablet then returned to how it looked before. Hansen was confused. He put his hand on the Geno tablet, but everything was the same again. The Geno tablet lit up, but then it went dim. That weird voice still bellowed through that zone. What is this thing? Is it some sort of powerful sacrifice? Hansen leered at it with greed. He reached out his hand to hold the tablet, and see if he could take it away with him. If that thing was a sacrifice, it would be tremendously powerful. If he was able to take it with him, it might one day prove useful. Hansen did not have enough power to touch the Geno tablet. Aside from making it light up, it told Hansen he was not qualified enough every single time. He could not make it do anything aside from that. What kind of crap is this? I am not interested in it. Seeing that he could not do anything to move it, Hansen promptly gave up. He walked around the Geno tablet in profound disappointment. He still could not uncover what the enigma was. Never mind. The 33rd sky really is too weird. Let me go ahead and see if I can return to the Geno universe. Hansen's heart jumped. He flew into the sky. He traveled 1 billion light years away, but he never escaped the 33rd sky. Hansen kept moving. It did not matter how fast he flew or how far he went. The 33rd sky looked as if it did not have an end. He could not fly out anywhere. This 33rd sky is so weird. It cannot go through my spirit body. Hansen frowned and looked at the Geno tablet. He was thinking, does that mean the 33rd itself has a connection to the Geno tablet? If I want to go through this sky, will I have to activate the Geno tablet? If things are indeed like that, going through the 33rd sky will not be as simple as I thought it would be. Hansen tried investigating the Geno tablet some more, but everything was still the same. The Geno tablet still refused Hansen's attempts to activate it. What is this broken tablet? I am a pure spirit body. I cannot use Geno arts. If I was able to, I would break this stupid, broken stone tablet. Hansen was depressed as he spoke to himself. Hansen stayed in the 33rd sky for what seemed like an eternity, yet he could not unravel a single secret that shrouded the mystery of that Geno tablet. He could not make the Geno table approve him. He could not go through the 33rd sky. While he was deep in thought, his heart suddenly jumped. It was like another life force entered the 33rd sky. Is another life force able to enter the 33rd sky? Hansen was shocked by this. His heart jumped. He then dived into the sea of clouds. A life able to enter the 33rd sky had to be unique. This life might have even been able to see his spirit body, so Hansen made sure to hide and see if he could snag a peek at who had just arrived. Hansen thought, it cannot be Qinxiu. If it was him, it would be my chance. Qinxiu gave up his body. He entered the black crystal armor with a spirit body. I have a spirit body too. Does that mean I can enter the black crystal armor and fight with Qinxiu to regain control of the black crystal armor? If I can take back control of the black crystal armor, it will do me a world of good. It may not be better than having my old body back, but it will surely beat my current condition. Not long later, Hansen saw a body inside the 33rd sky. The figure quickly reached out for the Geno tablet. Hansen had a closer look and almost screamed. The life force that appeared near the Geno tablet was the missing ancient devil, who had been gone for a long time. How has he managed to come to the 33rd sky? How did he manage such a thing? Hansen was shocked. He wanted to capture ancient devil and interrogate him. But Hansen only had a spirit body. Even if he was stronger than ancient devil now, He could not touch a single strand of hair on Ancient Devil's body. Ancient Devil floated in front of the Geno tablet. He was like Han's senator. He put his hand on the Geno tablet, and the Geno tablet's scribe lit up. The results almost made Hansen laugh out loud. Ancient Devil was like Han's senator. The Geno tablet rejected Ancient Devil's touch. The reasons why were identical to Han's senator. He was not strong enough. Ancient Devil was troubled by this as well. He frowned and said to himself, I took a risk to be reborn when the world rebooted. In the anti-material world, I came back here. I almost died. I finally reached this point, but I still cannot activate the Geno tablet. Do I really need a reboot power to activate this Geno tablet? When Hansen heard that, he was shocked. It looks like Ancient Devil really was a vice president of the God Chaos Party, but he is different from Big Sky Demon and Berry Path God. He was reborn in the rebooting chaos. He kept his memories, but how did he come through the 33 skies? What would happen if the Geno tablet is booted up? What benefit would Ancient Devil get out of it? Hansen was very confused, but he was only a spirit body. There was nothing he could do about it. According to theory, only the elites with a break world rate of 100% could break the barriers between the main and reverse worlds. All this time, only the God Chaos Party's former leader had been able to achieve that. Ancient Devil was strong, but he had only been reborn once. He struggled through the sanctuary worlds. After everything he went through, he was imprisoned by Han's senator. His progress, and what he had been able to achieve was severely slowed down. Hansen thought, Ancient Devil must have a special way to break through the 33 skies. I just need to follow him. Perhaps then I can get through the 33 skies and reach the Geno universe. Chapter 3298. Exiting the 33 skies. Ancient Devil peered at the Geno tablet for a very long time. He then turned around and left. Hansen had been watching Ancient Devil intently for a long time. He immediately followed him. As Ancient Devil was flying, he suddenly disappeared. It was like he was able to slip into an invisible tunnel. No one else could enter. Hansen was shocked by this. He teleported to the point where Ancient Devil vanished, but there was nothing there to find. At least, Hansen was unable to discover anything. Damn it! How did he manage to leave this place? Hansen was a little depressed by this. Suddenly, the location where Ancient Devil vanished started to showcase a strong vortex that was spinning fast. It was like a whirlpool that kept increasing in size. It gradually turned into a swirling spirit power. Hansen was quite shocked. He did not think he had a chance, but he was suddenly feeling hopeful. He did not know what the swirling spirit power was, but he was fearless at this point. He gnashed his teeth and rushed inside. The swirling spirit power did not last long. After Hansen drilled inside of it, the power started to fade. It quickly disappeared. The swirling spirit power did not harm Han's senator. He felt as if he was sent through a space tunnel. The moment he emerged from it, he was shocked by what he saw. Ancient Devil felt bad. Back when things had been rebooted, he was able to be like Big Sky Demon or Berry Path God, sacrificing some power to live. He had not done that. Instead, he used the rebooting of the universe as a chance to use a glitch while it rebooted to be reborn, and maintain his full memories. It was a very dangerous play. Keeping the memories of being reborn was difficult. Not to mention that, he did not even know what kind of creature he would end up as. He did not know what kind of body he would end up having after being reborn. He did not know if he could end up breaking the world. Plus, Ancient Devil did not know anything about the other universe. Compared with others, the only advantage he had was of his memories from his previous life, but the memories he had might not work in another universe. It was a big risk, but Ancient Devil still chose to be reborn. It was because Ancient Devil knew the other universe had a Geno tablet too. Only by being there could he have the chance to get close to it. Otherwise, he would have to be like Berry Path God and break through the 33 skies with his power. It would be even harder than being reborn. Without the power of the leader, Ancient Devil did not think Berry Path God could break through the 33 skies. So he was taking a risk. Ancient Devil thought he was very lucky, and he was right. He had a new body. It was weaker than a child of the universe of kingdoms, but it had a lot of potentials. The magical world of the sanctuaries surprised Ancient Devil. The power and levels obtained in the world of the sanctuaries were not high, but the effect of a body's evolution provided a huge effect that Ancient Devil could not believe. The experiences he had there were useless, so Ancient Devil had to grow up. He had to reach the zenith of the purpose he was striving for. When he went to the Geno tablet, he noticed what the leader had once said was correct. If he was not reboot class, he would be unable to access the Geno tablet. He exited the 33 skies. Ancient Devil's soul returned to his body. Ancient Devil had only just managed to break the world. With his power, the 33 skies were very close to the Geno universe, but he still could not get in. Ancient Devil did have an item that he had managed to bring with him when he was reborn. That item had to be used with break world powers too. So, Ancient Devil had waited until this exact day. When he finally managed to break the world, he used the item to gain direct access to the 33rd sky. That item could only be brought into the 33rd sky by Ancient Devil's spirit. His actual body could not go there. Because he was so depressed, when Ancient Devil's soul returned, he did not disconnect the treasure's power. He remained frozen for a bit. At that moment, Hansen felt the movement of the treasure. He used that treasure to get out of the 33 skies. Hansen's luck was impressive. He had a pure spirit body. The item only worked on spirits. Otherwise, even if he felt the treasure, he could not go back. Ancient Devil only froze for a moment. He quickly stopped being frozen and withdrew his power. The item that had lost Ancient Devil's power did not return to normal. It was still shining with a god light. It was becoming stronger. What is going on? Ancient Devil frowned and looked at the black crystal floating in front of him. It was the size of an egg. That thing had followed him for a long time. It had never left his side. Nothing strange ever happened to it. Ancient Devil gathered up a break world power and put it into the black crystal. He wanted to stabilize the black crystal, but his power was rejected. Ancient Devil was even more shocked by this. What is going on? Ancient Devil frowned and looked at the black crystal. The black crystal had a black swirl floating around it. The black flame was growing stronger. Ancient Devil weirdly looked at it. He said to himself, "Weird. This item is the Geno prototype replica given by the leader, but a replica is just a replica. It should not have the actual soul when it is just a Geno prototype. It only has a few features of the prototype. Therefore, why would it keep running?" Suddenly, Ancient Devil thought of something. His face changed. Does that mean there was another spirit in the 33rd sky? Did it enter the black crystal? No. Barry Path God and the others cannot gain access to the 33rd sky yet. Not even someone from the Geno Hall can access the 33rd sky. Ancient Devil looked at the burning black crystal. He had a strange expression on his face. The scary flame wrapped up the crystal. He could not see what was inside the black crystal. Hansen was as shocked as Ancient Devil at this moment. After his spirit body went through the 33rd sky's swirling spirit power, he ended up inside the black crystal. Hansen was very familiar with black crystals. This one was just like the black crystal before it became the black crystal armor. Hansen almost thought he had entered the black crystal armor. When he looked closer, he realized he had not. That black crystal was not the same as the black crystal armor. It was like the one horizontal evil gave him. He was affected by the black crystal. The story of Gene started to run. It made Hansen both shocked and happy. No matter how hard he had worked in the past, his spirit body was unable to use Geno arts. Now the black crystal was making the story of Gene's run. Hansen loved it. He quickly admired his body. He used the power changes to cast the story of Gene's skill. Chapter 3299. Retrieving his body again while the story of Gene's was running, Hansen's spirit body started to change. He went from having a spirit body back to having a real body. Hansen was very happy. He used the black crystal power, which kept pushing for the story of Gene's to run. His spirit body became solid. It went higher and higher. Ancient Devil stared at the black flame and watched how the black fire exploded. The black crystal inside it broke the world. A naked body emerged from it. Ancient Devil and Hansen looked at each other. When Ancient Devil saw Hansen floating in the air with his private parts wobbling like mad, his face changed. "It is you." Hansen felt as if this situation was a bit awkward. Fortunately, he was used to such situations. He was not panicking. He defused the situation by summoning the Dongxian armor to wrap up his naked body. He appeared very proud as he looked at Ancient Devil. He smiled and said, "Ancient Devil, I cannot believe we have met each other again. If I had a choice in the matter, I would elect never to meet you again." Ancient Devil deeply sighed. He had encountered Hansen 2 times. Each time, bad things had happened to him. The last time he encountered him, Hansen had him incarcerated for many years. This time, Hansen had just broken the gene prototype replica. The breaking of the gene prototype replica was the worst of all. It might have been just a replica, but it was something created by the leader. There weren't many things like that left in the universe. Ancient Devil had long cherished it. Even in all his life and death moments, he never thought about bringing it out. He had been hoping to use the black crystal to break through the last step. Now there was nothing left for him. Ancient Devil wondered if he had murdered Hansen's family in his past life. So Hansen was some karmic repo man out to exact vengeance in this life. If Ancient Devil was still the vice president of the God Chaos Party, he would have turned Hansen into dust with a single strike of the hand. That way, Hansen would have had no chance of reappearing in front of him again. After his reincarnation, Ancient Devil had only now just broken the world. He did not need to try. He knew he could not beat Hansen. Ancient Devil was still curious about how Hansen might have gained access to the 33rd sky and entered his black crystal. "I did not mean to find you on purpose. This was a fateful encounter. It looks like our fates are deeply intertwined. Shouldn't you, the vice president, cherish such a fateful encounter?" Hansen did not plan on beating down Ancient Devil again. He had tried to do that before. He suppressed Ancient Devil for a long time, but he never did extract any secrets out of him. His identity in his past life was already a cat let loose from the bag. Ancient Devil's face did not change. He calmly said, "In this life, I am not like how I used to be. The vice presidency of the God Chaos Party is none of my business. I am now just a small person who has just about managed to break the world in the Geno universe. I would believe that if it came out the mouths of others, but you are different," Hansen said while squinting his eyes. "You have the memories of your past life. How can you say you have no connection to your past life anymore? Ancient Devil is an Ancient Devil. It does not matter if it is your current life or your past life, you are Ancient Devil. Why do you have to keep going against me? You locked me up for so many years, but I never looked to exact revenge, did I? Why do you have to keep bringing me harm?" Ancient Devil sighed. Hansen shook his head. "I did not mean to trouble you too much. This really was just an accident. Speaking of that, I actually want to thank you. Without your black crystal, I am afraid I was going to die. You just did something very good for me. Why would I think about doing anything bad to you afterward? All I have with me is a few questions I would like to ask, Mr. Vice President. If you ask me something I know, I will answer you." Ancient Devil looked at Hansen. He wasn't really sure what he meant. "What is the black crystal?" Hansen already knew the black crystal was Ancient Devil's tool to gain access to the 33rd sky. Yet, that black crystal looked like the one horizontal evil had given him. It was similar to the black crystal armor in terms of presence, so Hansen wanted to know what the connection between the two was. "This is a Geno prototype replica," Ancient Devil said. "A replica?" Hansen looked conflicted. That black crystal was almost the same as the one horizontal evil gave him. If that was a replica, the one horizontal evil had given him might have been a replica too. Hansen thought, if horizontal evil really gave me a replica, that means horizontal evil gave up his life for a replica. He connected with the break skies and allowed himself to be tortured for countless years. It doesn't sound like a fair trade to me. Hansen thought it was very possible, but Qin Xiu's personality wasn't one in which he would give important items to others. There was an 80% to 90% chance that the one horizontal evil cherished the most was just a replica. Thinking about that, Hansen felt glum. A strong man like horizontal evil had met such a terrible end. Yes, it is a replica, but it comes from the God Chaos Party leader. Therefore, it is still rather amazing. It is a rare treasure in this world. I only had this one, and you came in here and destroyed it. I do not even know if there is another one out there. Ancient Devil looked sad as he spoke. How many replicas were there? Hansen asked. The old leader only gave me one, Ancient Devil replied. As to how many replicas exist, I am afraid that is a question only the old leader can answer. I have one last question for you. Hansen looked at Ancient Devil and asked, what is the Geno prototype? From what Hansen could tell, the black crystal armor Qinxiu controlled was a Geno prototype. If Bai Mo's last words were not a lie, this item came from the birthplace of humans. How could that connect to the God Chaos Party and its leader? This is the beginning of all genes. The old leader always had it. When the universe was rebooted, I do not know where the Geno prototype went. I have no idea. Ancient Devil was being very cooperative. That being said, the answers he was giving were rather useless. Hansen was silent a moment before saying, if you want to leave, I will not stop you. I am afraid there is something you do not know. Qin Xiu is the leader of the God Chaos Party now. He is opening the 33 skies. If I have guessed things correctly, his purpose is the same as yours. He is here for the Geno tablet. Ancient Devil's face changed, but it quickly returned to normal. He coldly asked, did I not say my past life has nothing to do with this life? I do not care who the leader of the God Chaos Party is now. If you are not going to kill me, then I will take my leave. Hansen watched Ancient Devil walk away. He did not stop him. After Ancient Devil disappeared from his sight, Hansen moved his body. He looked happy as he said, having a body is so much better. The spirit body had no pain or tiredness, but it did not feel as if I was alive. After exercising, Hansen looked around. He quickly realized he was in outer sky. It looks like Barry Pathgod was right. The outer sky is above the 33rd sky. Outer sky resides in the Geno universe. Hansen was delighted. This time he did not just get his body back. He was back in the Geno universe. Chapter 3300. Rebirth Machine Sister Kier. Do you have time to walk around out there today? A young man of the very high looked elegant as he went in front of Li Kier. He smiled at her warmly. I do not have time. Li Kier rejected the advance. She seemed very annoyed. Since her very high sense had not broken through, the race wanted her to get married as fast as she could to start producing babies and continue the dwindling bloodline of the very high. There was a young man named Li Yan. He was the other half in a betrothal the families had organized on their behalf. Li Yan looked awful. He glumly said, Li Kier, you better figure this out. This was a decision made by the elders. I am forced to be going through this with you as well. What kind of attitude are you showing here? Li Kier coldly said, if you do not like it that much, then go and complain to the elders or the leader. Maybe you can get them to cancel this whole thing and save yourself the trouble. Li Kier was annoyed. The last thing she wanted to do was get married. When Li Yan heard what she had to say, he looked even worse. Do you think I am not aware of the fact that you are obsessed with Dollar? It is such a shame that Dollar is Hansen, and Hansen is a dead man. Even if he is not dead, like the rumors say, he is exquisite silkworm. He had no connection with you. In the beginning, you wanted Dollar to be your silkworm, but he ignored your plight for the longest time. Why must you torture yourself this much? Li Yan wasn't a core member of the Very High. He was just a tool. The last time Hansen went to the Very High, he saw Very High leader and Space Gardens people. Li Yan did not know if the rumor about Hansen having made that return was the truth or not. Li Kier just ignored him and departed. Li Yan was a bit angry. He yanked Li Kier by the hand and said, stand right there, Li Kier. I am telling you, no matter whether you are willing to or not, I am the only person you will ever marry. This is a rule of the Very High. No one can disobey the law. You will not be an exception. Li Kier looked upset. She turned around and pushed his hands off her. She wanted to say something, but she stopped. She looked back to where she was looking. She saw a man approach. When Li Kier saw the man, her body shook. She peered at the man with a look of utter disbelief. As Hansen approached, he heard Li Kier and Li Yan's conversation. He walked up to Li Kier and said, Kier, if you do not want to get married, I can talk to your leader. Perhaps they will cancel the arrangement. Before Li Kier spoke, Li Yin coldly asked, Who are you? How can you dare to interfere in the business of the very high? I cannot interfere with the business of the very high leader, but I can certainly impart an opinion or two. After saying that, Hansen turned to Li Kier and said, Kier, are Little Flower and the others here in outer sky? Why did not I see them at the base? Li Kier nodded. They built a new base. I will take you there. Stop right there. Who are you? Li Yin thought Hansen was Li Fei. Based on what he had said, he obviously did not know about the Mirror Lake base. Thinking about that, he thought Hansen was just a man invading outer sky. According to the laws of the very high, he had to take all invaders down. Li Kier looked at Li Yin. She lifted her lips and said, He is not someone great. He is the dead person you just mentioned. Are you interested in killing him again? Li Yin was shocked. When he realized what had happened, his face changed. He looked at Hansen with suspicion. Li Kier, do you just want to find a random guy to disguise himself as Dollar? Do you really think I am 3 years old? Who in this universe does not know about Dollar and Qin Xiu dying together? The rumor about Dollar not being dead was just a joke. Li Kier laughed and looked at Han Sr. He does not believe you are Dollar. Perhaps you should prove him wrong. I do not have anything to prove. I am Dollar and that is that. I will give him a coin. Hansen placed his index finger and middle finger together. He manifested a coin in the slot between them. He tossed the coin to Li Yin. Li Yin did not know if this was Hansen or not. He did not take the coin. While he was moving away, the coin approached slowly and still managed to land on him. Li Yin's face changed. He generated power. He wanted to blast the coin away, but the coin hit his fist. It was like it was superglued to the knuckle. Boom. Li Yin's body became heavy. The ground around his feet cracked. It was as if he was carrying a mountain. It looked like he was about to sink and be crushed. Let's go. It has been a while since I last saw Little Flower. I would like to see him. Hansen put his hand on Li Kier's shoulder and teleported to Mirror Lake. Sister Kier, Han Yin outside the base saw Li Kier. She said hello, but Hansen, who was next to Li Kier, was frozen upon seeing her. His eyes turned red. Brother, you are back. Han Yin was very happy and hugged Han. Senator Hansen stroked her head and smiled. Why are you still like a kid? When are you going to grow up? Why would I grow up? I want to be the much adored kid forever. Han Yin laughed. But you are already an auntie. Do you really not feel ashamed for saying something like that? Hansen rubbed her on the nose. Han Yin laughed. What is wrong with being an auntie? You can still be loved and have a good nephew. Little Flower is smart and a gentleman. He is stronger than you. By the way, Little Flower is in the base. I will take you to him. I can only imagine how much you miss him. Han Yin led Hansen and Li Kier to the base. She pushed the door open and saw Han Yufei wearing a long robe. She had gold glasses on. Why are you back? Han Yufei pushed up her gold glasses and looked at Han Sr. I am free, so I decided to come back. Hansen rubbed his nose. That is good. I need your help with a test I am working on. Come with me. After Han Yufei said that, she went down a corridor and walked into an elevator. Hansen followed. He wanted to know what Han Yufei was doing. The elevator went all the way down to the base before stopping. There was a big door outside the elevator. Han Yufei typed in a few passwords to open it. Hansen saw a giant egg-shaped thing. He was confused as he asked, What is this? That egg-shaped thing was 30 feet tall. It was unknown what kind of high-level technology was involved in its creation. It did not look like metal. It did not look like wood or stone. It looked like a crystal with lots of veins inside. One was able to see lights passing through them. I call this machine the Rebirth machine. Han Yufei pushed her gold glasses and looked cocky. A rebirth machine? Hansen looked weird as he asked, Can this machine control what sort of baby a future parent is going to have? Han Yufei lifted her lips and said, It is nothing so simple. The rebirth machine can modify genes. For example, when a male sperm enters a female's egg, it can have its genes adjusted. Then, the baby can decide what gene it would prefer to receive. Isn't that just a Geno baby? Hansen asked. The Alliance did something like this a long time ago. Of course not. My rebirth machine is not just human to human. Han Yufei sinisterly smiled. Chapter 3301. Science Test, not only for humans and humans? Hansen's eyes twitched. He started to imagine many strange things. It looked as if she was able to see into Hansen's mind and discern what he was thinking. Han Yufei explained. It is not in the way you think. It is more like how the humans in the sanctuaries absorb the gene signals from other creatures, so they can strengthen their genes. The idea of the rebirth machine is to modify genes so that the good genes can be inherited by the next generation. They can filter out the bad genes, such as sickness. Of course, no matter how much we modify our genes, we will need a good gene base. My people, the witch, have very good genes. If we can mix the genes with the good genes of another creature, we can make a good life that is beyond what both races can achieve. It does not sound too bad, but it does seem a bit weird, Hansen said with a frown. Han Yufei seriously said. You can imagine what it might be like if the rebirth machines worked. You can have another son and decide whether or not he has a double eyelid or a single eyelid. If you want him to have wings, he can have wings. You can make them taller, skinnier, or even prettier. You can even modify the penis size. Do you not think kids like that are better? It must be better than trying your luck with a dice roll. Hansen's eyes twitched. Maybe that is great, but I do prefer the surprise of a baby being born. Your daughter and son are both excellent. Of course, it is natural for you to think of things that way. Have you considered what it must be like for people with genetic diseases? They have to endure a lifetime of pain and misery, and their sons, grandsons, and future generations all might have to suffer the same way. With this rebirth machine, this can be totally avoided. They can live happier lives, don't you think? Han Yufei looked very holy as she spoke. Hansen nodded. What Han Yufei said seemed to make sense, but he thought something was amiss. He just couldn't tell exactly what that was. So, to erase all the pain and sicknesses for all humans, I need you to finish this rebirth machine with me. You are not going to reject my plight, are you? Han Yufei squinted her eyes and looked at Han Sr. What can I do? Hansen asked with a frown. I do not know anything about this. You can let me handle the research side of things. I just need some of your genes to research. As you know, your genes are very good. The benefits of inheriting your traits are more than worthwhile. Little Flower and Linger had different genes from you at different points in time. Han Yufei's eyes glowed as she spoke. If all you require are my genes, then that is no problem. Hansen thought this might be a good thing. He did not need them, but other people might. It might have been good for them to increase the overall quality of the human race. If he only had to offer her some genes, Hansen thought it was fine to do. Good. First go inside there. I will collect your genes. Han Yufei led Hansen into a germ-free room. She pointed at a germ-free tube. Hansen laid down while Han Yufei brought out a metal needle. She walked closer to him and said, Take your pants off. Why would I take my pants off? If you want my genes, then just collect them from my hair. Hansen thought something was wrong. He looked at Han Yufei with suspicion. Did I not explain all of this to you already? The rebirth machine is for modifying genes. You need a baby to make it work, so I am collecting it now. Han Yufei put the needle into the tube. Wait a minute. I only said I would provide you my genes. I did not say I would provide that. Plus, even with just that, you cannot make a baby with it. Hansen jumped out of the bed. Han Yufei held Hansen down and prevented him from jumping away. She seriously said, Your understanding is very poor. Did I not say that the rebirth machine does not only work with humans and humans? Humans and the witch can work too. Your genes are very good. Combining them with my witch genes and modifying them will work to create a baby that is smarter than Linger. When Hansen heard that, he had black lines developed across his head. He removed Han Yufei's hands and jumped out of the bed. He looked upset. I did not agree to do this to create babies. Your style of thinking is too old-fashioned, Han Yufei said. Babies like this will be smarter than a natural baby. What is so wrong with that? That is not the problem. We have no relation. How are we supposed to make babies? Han-sun sounded depressed. Your thoughts are too traditional. Ancient even. We are going to create a better life. It is like reproducing a great robot. We don't need to involve ourselves with emotions. We will not have a relationship. This is just scientific research. You can just treat it like a good robot in research. Han Yufei tried to convince Han Sr. You should go and find someone else for this, Han-sun said with a wave of his hand. I am too close-minded, so I cannot do this for you. Go and get Xie Qing King. He is very open-minded. He might be able to accept this. His genes have not sufficiently evolved. Han Yufei thought about it. She then took out a video player for Han-sun to use. I understand. Humans are annoying. Just use this. What is this? Han-sun turned the video on and looked at it. His eyes opened wide. The video was a pornographic film that was very exciting. It made people's blood boil. You are not used to just taking it straight, so I suppose this can help you. It is a similar way to collect it. Han Yufei looked as if she understood it well. Han-sun was feeling awkward. He hid the bulge in his pants as he said, That is not what I meant. You are so annoying. If you are not used to it, then I will help you. After Han Yufei said that, she put on some rubber gloves and looked at Han-sun's penis. I told you this is not what I meant. Go and find someone else to help you with this test. I cannot help you. Although Han-sun always felt shameless, this time he fled. He ran out of the laboratory. Humans are annoying. Han Yufei frowned. She put down the needle and took off her gloves. Han-sun left the lab. He saw Han Yin waiting for him. Han Yin thought Han-sun was looking a little weird. She asked, What did Han Yufei want you to do for the tests? It was something chaotic. I did not know what she was talking about, so I told her to find someone else. Han-sun did not go into too much detail. Sister Yufei is a very special genius, Han Yin said. I have learned a lot from her, but sometimes she can be a bit weird. You should get used to it. I do not think I will ever get used to that. Han-sun displayed a wry smile. He did not tell Han Yin anything more. Chapter 3302. Weird Super God Spirit Body in the Old Tower in the 17th Sky. Qin Xiu looked at the black-haired Wan'er. He looked glum. Wan'er looked at Qin Xiu and said, Brother Qin Xiu, you are back. I am back. When did you wake up? Qin Xiu looked around. He knew that if there had not been any meddling, Wan'er would still be asleep. She would especially not be looking the way she was. The blonde Wan'er had the will of the Qin Kingdom's Wan'er. The black-haired Qin Wan'er had the will of the witch Wan'er. It did not matter which will was in control. She would always retain the memories from both worlds. It was just her personality that would greatly differ depending on which was in control. The blonde Qin Wan'er called Qin Xiu a brother. The black-haired Qin Wan'er added his name, Qin Xiu, after it. I just woke up, the black-haired Wan'er answered. Qin Xiu did not see anything amiss in the old tower, and his security system was still untampered. No creature had been detected. Qin Xiu was confused. Qin Xiu looked at Wan'er and asked, Wan'er, who has been here? No one came, Wan'er replied. Qin Xiu was smart. By looking at Wan'er's face, he knew someone had paid a visit. After a brief thought, he asked, What did Han-sun do here? Wan'er was frightened, but she quickly explained. Big brother did not mean me any harm. He only came to visit me. It is fine, Qin Xiu softly said, despite the sting of betrayal on show in his eyes. As long as you are happy, you can have anything. If you want to see him again, I can make him come here and let him visit you more often. Oh really, brother Qin Xiu? Wan'er was shocked and happy. Of course, you sweet dumpling. Just be happy, and I will do anything I can in my power to sustain that joy. Qin Xiu rubbed Wan'er on the nose and smiled. Thank you, brother Qin Xiu, Wan'er happily said. Do you know where Han-sun went? Qin Xiu inquired. I can go and get him. I can bring him over here to meet you. Wan'er shook her head. I do not know where big brother went. He only said he would come and see me in the future. That is fine. I will find him. If you like it, no matter where he is, I will bring him right here in front of you. Qin Xiu stroked Wan'er's hair and looked at her softly. After leaving the old tower, Qin Xiu looked very cold. What did Hansen do? He made Wan'er will take over her other will. It looks like I have to put my skates on and speed things up. After a few steps, Qin Xiu traveled through space to visit a jail. Mr. Leader, you are here. Shoot Shadow kneeled. How is the life-soul combination process faring? Qin Xiu looked at Sky King, who was currently chained to a metal pillar. Sky King's body had been shredded by various meat hooks that kept him in place. The chains were connected to a giant block of copper that looked like a beast. There was a weird spirit air coming out from the copper. It was going to the chains that went into Sky King's body. It made Sky King howl in pain. Reporting to Mr. Leader, I can confirm that things have been going well, Shoot Shadow quickly replied. His breakworld rate has reached 83%. It is very stable. I believe that it will not be too long before he reaches 90% out of 100. Very good, Qin Xiu said. Keep things on track with our timing. We must make his breakworld rate hit 90%, but we cannot afford any mistakes. We need him and his power to break the 33 skies. Do not worry, Mr. Leader. I will not disappoint you. After speaking, Shoot Shadow curiously asked, Mr. Leader, do you know where this guy even came from? How can his power react to the 33 skies? It is quite hard to believe. There is no more time for chit-chat, Qin Xiu coldly said. That is how long we live. My mistake. Shoot Shadow's face changed. He kowtowed on the floor, shaking madly with fear. Qin Xiu ignored Shoot Shadow's behavior. He looked at Sky King and said to himself, with him we should be able to break the 33 skies in 3 months. Hansen stayed in the Geno universe for 2 or 3 days. Every day, he took Linger to visit Ji Yanran and watch her kill Xenogeneics. It was a fun thing to do. Ji Yanran was now in the Geno universe. She was steadily practicing her battle talents, but her battle abilities were admittedly not the best. Fortunately, she was talented with Xian. Hansen taught her under the sky knife skills. She learned them quickly. Hansen was studying the story of genes. After it became solid, he used the reverse the story of genes and managed to rein it in. It was no longer as dangerous as it used to be. Although sometimes the Geno chains exploded, it was better than what happened before. It was now mostly able to be kept under control. He used the Dao members reverse the story of genes to his own advantage. Now he could successfully use the story of genes, but he really wanted to combine the main and reverse into one. He was going to need even more knowledge of the story of genes for that to happen. He was not done yet. Hansen cared even more about his body's changes. Hansen, Super God Spirit Body Breakworld Gene. 0 that confused Hansen quite a bit. The Breakworld genes he knew were more practically defined as a Breakworld rating. The Super God Spirit Body's Breakworld rate was based on what Hansen used to have. Hansen did not understand this. The Breakworld mode of the Super God Spirit Body could not touch anything. No matter how high a Breakworld rate was, it was useless. He could only fight in his solid mode. The Super God Spirit Body was useless. Hansen had tried it many times. With that Super God Spirit Body, Hansen could only run the story of genes. After running the story of genes, he would get his body back. He would then exit Super God Spirit mode. In that mode, normal people could not see him. Even Breakworld creatures could not see him, especially when he was fighting. Only a handful of people, such as Linger and Little Flower, could see him. Hansen was most surprised about the fact that Zero and Little Angel could see him. He was quite confused by this. Zero and Little Angel did not have spirit bodies. They did not have a spirit body type. It was unknown how they were able to see him. Even if they were able to see him, it was useless. Even though Linger could see Hansen, she could not touch his body. Beautiful lady, do you want us to take you to hunt gene races? A rough voice sounded from far away. Hansen was looking at Ji Yanran in the grassy pastures they occupied from afar. There was a group of dragon race people approaching Ji Yanran. They were trying to talk to her. Hansen was not in a rush to go over to her. Ever since the Year of Dollar began, humans and Space Garden had risen to become a powerful faction. Human women were quite popular in the universe. Many races were quite proud of the fact that they might have individuals marry human women. Of course, many beautiful women from all different sorts of races wanted to marry human men too. Dragons and the humans had a good relationship. Seeing their faces, they did not seem to be malicious as they approached Ji Yanran. "It is fine. I already have someone looking out for me," Ji Yanran answered with a smile. Who? Who could be better than me, Dragon 2? The young dragon proudly patted himself on the chest. "It's that guy over there. I do not even know if I can beat him." Ji Yanran pointed at Han Sen, who was chilling with Linger. Dragon 2 and the other dragon people all looked in the same direction. When they saw Han Sen's face, Dragon 2's face changed. He shockingly shouted, "Han Sen!" Chapter 3303 The universe is in chaos. It was very rare for Han Sen to have much free time. He was able to spend time with his wife and children, and hang out with friends. His days lately had been pretty comfortable. Huang Fujing, Lin Feng, Xie Qingqing, and many others all wanted to feel the powers of the anti-material world. They kept looking for Han Sen to fight him. Each and every time, they ended up getting beaten. Now, Han Sen wielded the greatest power in the universe, but meeting a few of those people had become rather annoying. It was not as if it was tricky dealing with them. It was just that those people loved to keep fighting. It was like he was playing a card game. To win every time led one to get bored pretty quickly. Plus, they would keep fighting for days on end. They would try and try without ever wanting to take a break. Bauer should be okay with the Feng family. Although Han Sen knew about Bauer's power and that nothing would happen to her, he still found himself rather worried about how she was doing. Han Sen tried to use Super God Spirit mode to go through outer sky. After absorbing the power of the prototype replica, he noticed that if his body became a spirit body, he was able to go through the 33 skies. That made Han Sen very happy. The only thing Han Sen did not like about it was the fact that he could only use his body to go through. He could not take anything with him. He could not bring Bauer back to the Geno universe. He took the Break World gene from Bauer. It was a tear-shaped crystal. Han Sen held the crystal and used a Geno art to try and absorb it, but the crystal did not respond. Han Sen hesitated. He put the Break World gene into his belly. He felt a weird power spread throughout his body. His cells rapidly started to change as the body's gene messages were updated. Break World gene +5. When the weird power was gone, and his body stopped changing, Han Sen heard that familiar sound. One Break World gene only adds 5%. How Break World beasts must I kill to max out my Break World gene tally? Han Sen felt depressed. Break World elites were exceptionally rare. Unless Qin Xiu started to mass-produce Break World beasts, it would be incredibly hard to find Break World elites. They would also be even harder to kill once they were found. The 33 skies have many scary gene races. They should be Break World caliber. I wonder if their bodies can yield Break World genes for me too? Han Sen thought about the 33 skies. There were still a dozen skies that had not been broken. There were many scary gene races yet to be fought. Many of those beasts had Break World capabilities. If their bodies had Break World genes, Han Sen did not have to be afraid of lacking a sufficient amount of Break World genes for his own consumption and improvement. While Qin Xiu has not yet broken through the 33rd sky, I can bring the good stuff back. It will be better for me than to benefit Qin Xiu. Han Sen made his mind up. He returned to the 33 skies. Before Han Sen arrived at the Feng family castle, the ground quaked. The sky had a black dot in it. What is this? People were soon shocked to realize the black dot was becoming bigger. It became a black hole that sucked everything around into it. When Han Sen saw the black hole, his face changed. That was because the presence of the black hole let out was not a presence from that universe. It was a presence from the Geno universe. Did Qin Xiu break the 33 skies? How could he have accomplished things so quickly? Han Sen did not believe it. He made Bauer and the Zhao sisters stay in the Feng family castle. He went toward that black hole. Before he could get much closer to the black hole, he felt a weird power come from that vortex. It was a main and reverse power that had combined to form a swirl. Ordinary creatures could not combat this power. Their bodies would be torn to shreds. Han Sen entered Super God Spirit mode. He went through the black hole. His face looked dire. The Geno universe was on the other side of the black hole. The black hole pierced and bridged the two universes. It looks like Qin Xiu accomplished what he was striving for, but I will confess that these black holes seem rather odd. They have pierced and bridged the two universes, but it seems as if they do not go through the 33 skies. Hansen frowned and wondered what was going on. The two universes were pierced and bridged through space. There were some strong changes. The powers of the two universes created tension in the black hole. Within that tension, and with the power of the universes, the place around the black hole had some scary changes. Many creatures that were already on top of the food chain felt the anti-universe power. They started to break the world. Suddenly, they were unable to break the world, but it was only a matter of time before they did. Hansen quickly realized that when the black hole expanded to a certain level, it stopped expanding. It did not close, however. It was like there was a windpipe to keep the two universal powers constantly swapping. It looks like Qin Xiu did not really break through the 33 skies, but I don't want what he might have done to drive this gap in between both universes. Hansen looked upon this event with full seriousness. Although the 33 skies were never fully broken open, the exchange between the two black holes was as big as two universes. Both universes had strong creatures breaking into the black hole. They wanted to visit another universe. Nearby, a destroyed elite ran out through the black hole. Hansen did not know if he could safely go to the other side through the black hole. Where Hansen could not see, two of the worlds had powerful creatures trying to visit another universe by entering the black hole. The world was in chaos. In the Geno Hall, the 12 Annihilation main gods gathered around. God Hall leader seemed serious. Light Goddess looked serious as she said, "Mr. Leader, in the space of our universes, it seems something has pierced and bridged the main and reverse universes. It is a sign of the 33 skies being broken. Qin Xiu really managed to achieve it. This was expected, but none of us knew it would happen this quickly." God Hall leader sighed. "What do we do? Should we stop them?" Light Goddess asked. God Hall leader shook his head. "Your powers are not the best they can be yet. The main and the reverse universes have been pierced through. This might enable you guys to recover your powers. It is not entirely a bad thing. If the 33 skies can be pierced through, it will be very bad for us. Our power is at 90% now. We can still fight." Moment God was someone who loved to fight. God Hall leader coldly said, "With the Geno tablet suppressing the 33rd sky, even if they find a spirit that makes it to the 33rd sky, to pierce through all 33 skies would not be so easy. You guys shouldn't worry. Use this as a chance. Use this as a special time to recover your god powers. It can be a boon for you." Chapter 3304 Life Soul creates chaos in the 33 skies. Shoot Shadow and a group of God Chaos Party members were excited as they looked at the universe's whole. They had been working on this for billions of years. Now that Qin Xiu had become the leader, and not even for a long amount of time, they had managed to break a dozen skies. Despite that, he had created so many universe holes that punctured and bridged the two universes. It shocked many of the God Chaos Party members. The people who stood by Berry Path God's side. They were starting to change their opinions of him. Berry Path God started to look awfully heavy. He did not know how Qin Xiu had managed to accomplish what he had done, but he thought this must have had something to do with Shoot Shadow controlling the Life Soul test subject Sky King. They looked at Shoot Shadow. He looked very red. He looked more excited than any other scary creature. Qin Xiu's body came from space. All the God Chaos Party members immediately bowed to show their respect. Qin Xiu coldly said to Shoot Shadow, "Shoot Shadow, you can start." Shoot Shadow excitedly went forward. Berry Path God and the others all looked confused. They did not know what Qin Xiu was doing. Not long later, they saw Shoot Shadow bring 100 beasts forth. They were pulling a giant copper stove forward. The big beasts were not Breakworld beasts, but they were God-class genes races with an ultimate body. Many beasts were needed to pull that 9-foot-tall copper stove. They looked as if they were having trouble doing so. The copper stove sank into the ground. The 100 big beasts were trying their best to pull it forward. It was just about enough to drag the copper stove forward. It left a deep trench in the ground. The copper stove was pulled in front of Qin Xiu before coming to a stop. After that, the 100 big beasts were almost unable to stand. Their legs trembled. A few of them were weak. Some of them were heaving up a white froth. Shoot Shadow politely bowed and said, "Mr. Leader, everything is ready." "Turn it on," Qin Xiu coldly said. "Yes, Master," Shoot Shadow replied. He walked in front of the copper stove, holding each side of the stove. The break-world powers burned madly. In the end he shouted. He had barely opened a small gap in the lid of the copper stove. Boom! A black flame came out of the copper stove. It was like a volcano erupting into the sky. The copper stove and stone lid blasted away with Shoot Shadow. Life souls. Berry Path God and the others were shocked. Whatever came out of the copper stove was not a black flame. It was a countless number of spirit bodies that looked like monsters. They were like demons crawling out of hell. They came crawling out of the copper stove. They went into the universe hole. It was unknown how many life souls were in the copper stove. Even Berry Path God and the others could not believe what they were seeing. They could not believe Qin Xiu had that many life souls in his possession. They thought they were overestimating Qin Xiu by believing he had over 100 life souls already. Now at least 10,000 life souls had come streaming out of the stove. There were ghosts like angels, Buddhas, dragons, godbirds, and all other types of life souls. They all came pouring out, shooting up and into the sky. Even Berry Path God felt cold and dim in the witness of this scene. There were so many life souls. If they all became break-world beasts, things would have been absurdly scary. Many life souls went drilling through the hole in the universe. They drilled their way out of the universe. Some life souls entered the Geno universe. Some life souls entered the universe of kingdoms. It was like a sky full of dandelions. They brought their scary seeds to every corner of the two universes. When Hansen saw a life soul near the hole in the universe, his face changed. Previously, he had seen creatures of the universe of kingdoms travel through the universal hole to reach the Geno universe. The creatures of the universe of creatures had been suppressed by the Geno universe. Weaker creatures were crushed and blown up. Even top-class creatures of the universe of kingdoms visiting the Geno universe were suppressed and prohibited from using their powers. It was not harmful. These life souls were different. Life souls that went to the Geno universe were not suppressed by the rules of the universe. They went to all sorts of planets. Hansen felt a chill. He saw 5 life souls were coming into the area. He did not know how many went to other areas. Hansen could not imagine what consequences the life souls would bring to the Geno universe. Die. Hansen used the Dongxian aura. He raced into the life souls that were flying, but Hansen noticed the Dongxian aura that had already reached break-world status, and could not touch the life souls. The life souls and I are the same when I turned on Super God Spirit mode. Are they just spirit bodies? Hansen now understood that only spirit bodies were not affected by powers. Hansen looked frozen. He suddenly entered Super God Spirit mode. His heart jumped. He teleported in front of a tiger-like life soul. He threw a punch at the life soul. Boom. Hansen blew up the tiger-like life soul. Hansen's body promptly flashed away. 7 to 8 life souls were broken near the system. They became starlight and quickly vanished. Hansen thought, it looks like these Super God Spirit bodies are useless against materials. But to spirit bodies, it is useful. While watching Hansen go and kill a few of the life souls was impressive to many. To the life souls were fleeing to a different universe, the act was nothing. More life souls went into the other universe. There was a life soul that was rather like a black dragon. It went into the dragon system. It was heading for a dragon xenogeniac that was asleep. It entered that dragon xenogeniac's body. The dragon xenogeniac was sleeping soundly. It suddenly woke up and roared to the sky. Its body dramatically changed. Black flames burned across it. Its back developed large black spikes. The dragon's wings kept growing. They developed backside hooks on them. The dragon xenogeniac mutated fast. Its presence became scarier and scarier. It created a power that was the opposite of the world. It was going to break the world. This scene kept happening in both universes. Powerful creatures were invaded by life souls, and combined with them. The creatures quickly mutated. Although not all the life souls invaded powerful creatures, a lot of them did. What is that? Huang Fujing brought 100 young men to kill xenogeniacs in Space Garden. She suddenly saw a weird xenogeniac in front of them. That xenogeniac was like a Tyrannosaurus rex. It burned with a black flame. Its back had many visible bones. Its eyes looked like they were holding black flames within them. It was like a demon that had come from hell. A Sky Palace young man looked at the star Tyrannosaurus rex curiously and asked, "Isn't that a star Tyrannosaurus rex? Why does it look so strange? You guys should head back to camp right now." Upon seeing the star Tyrannosaurus rex, Huang Fujing looked gravely serious. Chapter 3305 Star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Teacher Huangfu. "It is just a star Tyrannosaurus Rex," a young dragon man excitedly said. "With your power, you can kill any God-class gene race. You can even kill a mutant God-class gene race. Something like that isn't worthy of being your rival either. Therefore, would it not be a good thing for us to spectate your battle? Go back to the base. Otherwise, if you die, it won't be on me." Huang Fujing looked serious. Her body gathered up some time and space powers. She was in Super God Spirit mode. Before the star Tyrannosaurus Rex arrived, Huang Fujing's body flashed. It was like she had teleported behind the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Her legs came down like a bat leaks. Dong. Scary power hit the star Tyrannosaurus Rex in the back of the head. It was like she was striking a block of steel. Huang Fujing's slashing power was not even able to leave the slightest mark on her foe's skull. Huang Fujing went silent. The young man, who had been happy, opened his eyes and mouth wide. He had been rendered unable to speak. He knew how scary Huang Fujing was. Even top-class elites from the 3 high races were unable to defeat her in combat. Her attack, which seemed perfect by all accounts, could not harm the star Tyrannosaurus Rex at all. It was something that seemed impossible to believe. Roar! The star Tyrannosaurus Rex roared into the sky. It raised its head and shook Huang Fujing in the sky. Its roaring sound was like a spreading shockwave. All the creatures were attacked by the shockwave, and they all turned into dust because of it. Even the powerful plant xenogeniacs suffered the same fate. Blurg. A few young men up front were attacked by the shockwave. Their mouths spilled blood as they flew backward. While they were flying backward, their bodies kept breaking. Huang Fujing suddenly appeared in front of the young men. Her time and space powers spread like flowers to inhibit the shockwave from dealing damage to them. Her space powers were transparent like an invisible screen, yet they blocked the shockwaves. She was also affected by the shockwave. Huang Fujing's body fell backward. She left 2 deep trenches with her legs in the ground. "Run!" Huang Fujing coldly yelled. Her time and space powers exploded again. She stopped falling back and blocked the scary shockwaves. The young men looked as if they had woken up from a dream. They collected their wounded and returned to the base. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex noticed it was unable to overcome Huang Fujing's time and space powers, so it became incredibly angry. Its powerful back legs picked up power, making its body fly toward Huang Fujing like a launched cannonball. Its body was huge, but its speed was crazy. It was so fast that it was like it had teleported in front of Huang Fujing. It struck the time and space barrier. Catcha! Huang Fujing's time and space powers broke like glass. Huang Fujing coughed up some blood out. Her body was like a wave as she fell back. Her legs cleaved a trench through the ground of a few thousand feet long. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex roared into the sky. It was headed for Huang Fujing. Its body was shining with stars. It was like a meteor shower. Its scary power made the sky shake. Huang Fujing's Super God Spirit mode had time and space elements. It was not hard to dodge the attack, but there were lots of geniuses and young people behind her who had come there to study. If she dodged it, the many young men would be killed. Huang Fujing did not have the heart to save everyone, but this was Space Garden. It was where humans called home in the Geno universe. If she retreated, everything humanity had achieved would be thrown away with the death of these people. These young people were the hope and light of every other race. If they all died there, On that day, Space Garden would be abandoned by all other races. It might even end up being the enemy of the universe. Thus, Huang Fujing did not want to fall back. Her eyes looked bright. Her time and space powers completely exploded. Her hands pushed forward. Her powers twisted time and space. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex's power pierced through the time and space swirl. It created a scary power that broke the armor along Huang Fujing's arms. Her hand hit her chest. She flew away. Boom! Huang Fujing's body punched through a forest. She broke down many plant xenogeneics in her fall. She was extremely bloody and could no longer stand. Huang Fujing's personality was one of fighting fire with fire. She used force to overcome force. She wasn't great when it came to defense. She hadn't broken the world either. Her power was much worse than the star Tyrannosaurus Rex, which had managed to break the world. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex made one attack and succeeded. It became more powerful. It was still combined with the life soul, which made it stronger and stronger. Its break world rate grew higher and higher. The break world power was becoming scarier and scarier. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex turned into a light. It was going to finish off Huang Fujing, who was still struggling to stand up. A young man looked back and screamed. The light was all around. Huang Fujing stood up. She was no longer planning on falling back. She forced her time and space powers to rise and build a shield for her. She wanted to block the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's next attack. Anyone with a pair of eyes could tell Huang Fujing was too wounded. She would not be able to endure another one of those mighty hits. Pang! The star Tyrannosaurus Rex hit Huang Fujing. A sword air broke space and came. An overbearing sword air slashed the light. It did not break the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's light, but it made the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's body fall back. The sword air broke. Gu Qingqing's body appeared in the shattering sword air. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex kept attacking. Another sword air came down on the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's light. It was a white crystal great sword. The person holding the sword was a holy lady with white wings. The lady was like an angel who was blasted into the sky. She flapped her wings and tried to stabilize her body. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex became a light. Its attacks did not stop. It was still going for Huang Fujing. There was suddenly the shadow of a gold man standing in front of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. He had the figure of a gold Buddha. He hit the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Lin Feng, who was very good when it came to defense, managed to block the attacks of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its power was also weakened by Little Angel and Gu Qingqing, but Lin Feng's body still stumbled back. He spewed out blood. His gold armor had many cracks. Where did this monster come from? Gu Qingqing looked at the star Tyrannosaurus Rex and frowned. I do not know. I only know that we must kill it at all costs. Huang Fujing gnashed her teeth and stood up. Her body broke space and vanished. She went behind the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Her legs struck the legs of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not bad. Gu Qingqing was not slow. Her greatsword had a shocking sky sword air arise. It was headed for the neck of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Little Angel and Lin Feng did not speak. One palm and one sword attacked both sides of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's rib bones. Four people attacked the star Tyrannosaurus Rex together, but the star Tyrannosaurus Rex roared into the sky. The sonic powers had become visible. Huang Fujing, Gu Qingqing, Little Angel, and Lin Feng were also stopped by the sonic power. They were only 1 inch away from the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's skin, but they could not make contact with their foe. They were attacked by the shock wave. Their mouths, ears, eyes, and nose profusely bled. They were badly injured. Chapter 3306 God Descending Roar. The body of the star Tyrannosaurus Rex expanded. It made a roar that shocked the sky. It blasted Huang Fujing, Gu Qingqing, and the others away. Lin Feng had trouble getting back on his feet and balancing. He wiped away the blood on his sleeves. He looked at the star Tyrannosaurus Rex and said, "This is a star Tyrannosaurus Rex. How has it managed to break the world? I do not know how it has managed to break the world. If we are unable to kill it, Space Garden will be in big danger." Gu Qingqing was holding her great sword. She pointed it at the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Her sword mind kept rising. Huang Fujing did not speak. She flashed next to the star Tyrannosaurus Rex and moved quickly. She was like a war machine attacking the star Tyrannosaurus Rex from different angles. Because she teleported so fast, it looked like there were many of her attacking the star Tyrannosaurus Rex from many different angles. Knee, elbow, leg, palm, fist, finger, and all kinds of raging power struck the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Huang Fujing's bones were going to crack, but all her different attacks were unable to break the star Tyrannosaurus Rex's defenses. Roar! Gu Qingqing and a few people were about to save them when they suddenly heard a roaring sound come out of the bushes. A snow-white tiger with 4 wings came soaring forth. It was another break-world creature. Gu Qingqing's and Lin Feng's expressions changed. There were already 2 break-world creatures there. They did not know how many break-world creatures might have been prowling around Space Garden. Such scary existences were frightening. Just one of them had proven disastrous. They could not imagine the carnage to transpire if there were a few more of those things showing up, or what kind of damage they would do to Space Garden. In fact, Space Garden had more than 2 break-world beasts. Although the life souls had randomly entered the universe, they chose which creatures to take control of. They picked the most powerful life forces they could. That was especially so when it came to selecting xenogeneics. They were the type of creatures that attracted life souls. Space Garden had many big xenogeneics. They drew many life souls that were around. It made many xenogeneics suddenly mutate. The success rate of life souls and xenogeneics combining was still fairly low. Out of 10 life souls, only 1 could successfully combine. While that was a low figure, 1 was scary enough. Ji Yanran was fighting an Earl-class xenogeneic. She wanted to practice her power when she suddenly saw a mountain come crumbling down like a breaking wave from the sea. A big red snake, which was 3 feet long, suddenly emerged. Its eyes burned with a red flame. It looked at Linger, who was behind Ji Yanran. Boom! A blood flame fired out. It turned into a sky full of fire sea heading for Ji Yanran and Linger. Ji Yanran's body moved. She fell back. The sea of fire that faced them was too much to handle. With her speed, she was unable to avoid the radius of the sea of fire. Ji Yanran had to gather up power. She slashed at the sea of fire, but the power on the knife was melted by the bloody fires. The knife in her hand turned into steel juice. Ji Yanran's hand was burned by the fire. The mother and the daughter were on the cusp of being swallowed by the bloody fires. Damn it! Linger screamed. Her body was wrapped in white fire. Her entire body was like a spirit body. She released a very powerful spirit body to create white light. It shielded the mother and daughter. The blood fire landed on the shield, but it was unable to break its defense. Linger's body floated. She pointed at the big red snake and madly said, "You annoying little worm! How dare you hurt my mother? You have made me very mad. You little bug. So what? Who cares if you're mad?" The blood snake spoke the human language in response. Its scary snake head looked like it had the face of a human. It looked like a human-faced snake. Linger looked at the bloody big snake and said, "I am going to beat you." "Ha, ha. In that case, come at me," the bloody big snake said. Its bloody fires exploded again. It was burned by the blood flames around, conjuring a sea of blood. A tornado-like bloody fire came out of the big snake's human face. It was going toward Linger and Ji Yanran. "Linger, be careful." Ji Yanran wanted to grab Linger, who was floating in the air. Linger's body flashed. She went toward the bloody fire tornado. Pang! The bloody fire tornado broke Linger's fist. The white light-looking small fist hit the human-faced snake head. The human-faced snake made a wretched scream. The scream barely sounded and suddenly stopped. Its body looked like it had been melted by the sun. It turned into nothing and faded into the haze of a white shadow. A red crystal that looked like an eye fell. Ji Yanran opened her mouth wide as she stared at Linger. Although she knew Linger had inherited Hansen's body and would be very strong, it was still hard for her to believe a mad Linger could be that strong. In fact, Linger was born with a super god spirit mode. She was no worse than Hansen before his super god spirit mode broke the world. Plus, that human face snake had just combined with a life soul, so its break world rate was bound to be low. It was not yet used to wielding break world powers. That was how Linger had been able to slay the beast. Mom, are you okay? Linger looked how she did earlier. She returned to Ji Yanran. I am fine. Ji Yanran shook her head, but she looked serious as she said, we have to go back to the base. Inside outer sky, many scary creatures combining with life souls. Little Flower, Xiaqing King, and the others were fighting them. They were having a difficult time. Xiaqing King was shining with a silver light. He was madly fighting a big ape. His fist and the big ape's fist collided. Neither of them fell, but the big ape was brave. It also had a lot more power. Although Xiaqing King stood straight and did not fall back, the ground around his feet started to break. His fists bled. There was blood above his fists. The bones inside his hands were visible. It looked like the bones were going to break. Tang Jinlu was having a bad fight too. He was with Yi Dongmu, Snowball, and Little Star. They were fighting a weird bug man. The bug man was extremely fast and could dodge all of their attacks. The bug man's sharp claws were like blades. While it was flashing, his body left many marks on them. The universe was having crazy fights everywhere. It was not just the Geno universe experiencing this. Even the universe of kingdoms was suffering this kind of turmoil. In the Extreme King, an evil bird with 4 talons was engaged in a fight. Everywhere it went, it left pieces like sharp blades. The inside of the kingdom was little more than a mess. Mountains and buildings were ripped open. The blades in the ground were like trenches. God only knew how many Extreme King people had suddenly been killed. The blood dyed the land red as cries and screams erupted everywhere. It was like a living hell. God, save my son. I am willing to do anything. An old woman with white hair was holding a young man whose leg had been cut off. He was bleeding everywhere. She was screaming. A body emerged from the shadows. It was like a sky god descending. He looked at the Extreme King woman who was begging and coldly said, I am the god that controls time. I can do as you wish, but do not forget your promise. Chapter 3307 Who is Evil? Moment. Beautiful. Mfoment God looked emotionless. She drew her finger across space. That scary, Fort-alone bird's body looked as if it went through 1,000 lifetimes. Its life soul combined with its body much faster. To combine with a life soul was a very dangerous endeavor. Not many creatures survived the arduous process. Now Moment God had sped up the combining speed by 1,000,000 times. Thus, the body and life soul were experiencing significant problems. The Fort-alone, evil bird's face twisted grotesquely. Afterward, its body instantly exploded. It turned into a bloody mist that went everywhere. Moment God did not stop. Time all around her crawled to a standstill. She stepped out from the other side of the system. Another break world creature was destroying things there. The break world beast was killed by Moment God in the same manner, prompting legions of people to pray to Moment God. Weird power flowed through them all from the air. The powers eventually drifted in the direction of Moment God Temple. It made Moment God Temple brighter. Moment God's body grew brighter and brighter. It was not just Moment God Temple that lit up. Many God temples in the Geno Hall glowed with a shocking sky god light. All the god powers from all the god temples exploded. Blurred. Lin Feng's mouth spewed blood. Even so, his body was not reeling back. He blocked the 4-winged white tiger's claw light. The gold light that protected his body was perforated. His chest was torn through, leaving 3 bloody scrapes behind. The marks were so deep that his organs were visible. Behind Lin Feng, Little Angel's body was on the ground. Blood was everywhere as she stood back up. The tip of the white crystal great sword she held in one of her hands had been cut off. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex madly approached. Lin Feng was unable to fight it. Little Angel was wounded, but she rose her broken sword and tried slashing the scary star Tyrannosaurus Rex roar. A mad roar shook the ground. The shadow of a gold beast flew to the scene. It struck the star Tyrannosaurus Rex and its light. Boom. The ground quaked. The ultimate light and gold light shadow fell back. The gold light shadow was Golden Growler. It fought against the star Tyrannosaurus Rex. Golden Growler's forehead was already bleeding gold blood, but its body's gold light shone. It madly roared. A big gold door came out from its mouth. The star Tyrannosaurus Rex seemed to realize that it had encountered a worthy adversary. It stared at Golden Growler and the gold door he was vomiting. It was roaring at the golden door, wanting to test it out. The sound hit the golden door, but the golden door did nothing. It slowly opened via its own volition. It had a line of gold light. On the other side, Gu Qingqing and Huang Fujing stopped following the white tiger. Huang Fujing used her time and space powers to teleport. The four-winged white tiger was strong, but it was unable to hurt her. Gu Qingqing's sword was like a shocking flood. An overbearing sword air was blown into the sky, but it only managed to stop a few of the four-winged white tiger's attacks. Boom, 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 boom. The ground was shaking. The forests were shaking. A steel tree at the end of the forest, which was as tall as a tower, was coming. It was a plant break-world beast. It was headed for the human city in Space Garden. Let me handle this. Huang Fujing's eyes looked like they were on fire. Sure. Gu Qingqing followed the sword movements. A sword light broke space and went to the scary steel tree. The people and spirits that could go there were elites who had endured countless life and death moments. Even though the situation was dire, no one was actually losing all of their hope that these trials could be overcome. No one prayed for the aid of a god spirit, and no god spirit went to Space Garden. Only the elites of Space Garden held strong to battle the break-world beasts with their own volition. In the Tianxia system, Wang Yuhang rode his bike and broke space. He was going to outer sky to see what happened to Little Flower. Suddenly, a black hole formed in the sky. A life soul, which looked like a sky demon spirit, and was wearing a crown, appeared and headed straight for Wang Yuhang. What is this? Wang Yuhang saw the life soul, and threw a punch at it. His power was unable to touch the life soul. The life soul was like a ghost that went through his fist. It went into his body. Wang Yuhang's head massively ached. He was thrust into agony. He clutched his head and screamed as his body blazed with transparent fire. There were lots of fights going on in Outer Sky as well. The fights were worse than the fights in Space Garden. Outer Sky had many more strong elites than Space Garden did. So many life souls went there. 1 out of 4 life souls went to that realm. The base was broken. The very high were fighting. Little Flower entered his king spirit body. He used his holy body power to trap a few break-world beasts, but he could not spend time doing anything else. Help! Ningyu kept running while screaming. He had tears running out of the corners of his eyes. A break-world beast with 9 heads was chasing Ningyu and Sheep. As he was running, Sheep screamed, "Boss! Do not chase me. I am so skinny and chewy. I do not taste good. You should go and chase that person who does not look like a man or a woman. He tastes the best." With Sheep's power, he would not have made it to the Geno universe. Sheep had been holding the legs of the Han family for a long time. By remaining faithful, he had procured many benefits. He made it out of the sanctuaries and remained close with the Han family in the alliance. He had only just arrived in the Geno universe. Only a few days later after arriving, he was witnessing this most recent disaster. It made Sheep so depressed that he wanted to start coughing up blood. Ningyu heard Sheep's declaration for favoring the break-world beast eating him instead. It made him shocked and scared. He cried and yelled, "If you want to eat, eat Sheep. He tastes the best. He is very fat and soft." "You horrible person," Sheep angrily said. "How do you know I am fat and soft? I bet you always wanted to eat me." "Shut the hell up," the 9-headed beast shouted with annoyance. He punched the ground. The explosive power broke the ground. The ground collapsed. Sheep and Ningyu fell deep into the hole that formed. I really hate guys like this who are annoying people that cry and moan constantly. It seemed that the 9-headed monster was very manly. He lifted a fist and threw a punch at the deep hole. His fist was bigger than a room. The fist's shadow covered both Sheep and Ningyu. "Boss, help me. Actually, I am a son of yours who you lost many years ago." Sheep was so scared, he climbed up and tried to obey his villain. "No, I do not have a pussy son like you." The giant fist of the 9-headed monster continued its damning descent downward. Boom. The rocks around them fell as the ground was punctured. The impact left a deep hole. Sheep was holding his legs. As he laid on the floor with his eyes closed, he screamed, "I am going to die. I am going to die." Soon after, he noticed that the nine-headed monster's giant fist did not actually land on him. It was still 2 inches away, but it had not come down. Not far away from him, Ningyu was kneeling on the floor. He was holding the ground. One hand was holding a little green sword. The little sword and Ningyu were glowing with a green flame. It blocked the nine-headed beast's fist. Ningyu lowered his head and coldly asked, "Who did you call a pussy?" Chapter 3308 Sky King's Identity. People like you. The nine-headed monster looked frozen. It felt a scary sword air explode from Ningyu's body. It stumbled back a few steps. Ningyu got up off the ground. He was holding the small green sword. His face was very cold. All the fear and weakness he previously exhibited were gone. He was like an entirely different person. Catcha. The nine-headed monster's arms, which were going to hit Ningyu and Sheep, had a sword air come out from it. An arm was cut off. The nine-headed monster squealed. Its broken arm bled like a fountain of bloody, red water. "I am going to kill you." All of the nine-headed monster's heads roared together. 9 different powers gathered together. Another fist deployed 9 evil lights. They madly punched at Ningyu. Ningyu let the little green sword go. He allowed the little sword to float in front of him. He did not look at the scary power that came from the little green sword. A man and a sword did not move. As the 9 evil lights were coming closer, Ningyu did not move a muscle. The little green sword made a buzzing noise. It released a strange sword cry. It turned into a green peacock that went straight for Ningyu. Boom. The 9 evil lights detonated on Ningyu. Everything around seemed to rise up. The 9 evil lights shattered. Sheep was hiding behind Ningyu. His eyes were wide open. Within the 9 lights, a green color kept spreading. The 9 god lights could not get closer. As the 9 god lights faded, Ningyu was still standing where he had been. He looked unharmed, but his body was adorned in beautiful, green feather clothing. He was like a proud, green peacock. Ningyu looked into the sky. He lifted his lips to smile and said, "I am back." "What nonsense are you talking about?" The 9-headed weird beast roared. He threw more punches at Ningyu, one after another. Ningyu calmly looked at the 9-headed monster, whose futile strikes could not accomplish anything. His feather clothing had many peacock feathers coming out. They turned into many green sword lights. The 9-headed monster's 9 god light came again. It was pierced by a green light. No matter how many 9 god lights the 9-headed monster unleashed, the same results happened every time. On top of that, Ningyu's body was decked in more and more peacock feathers as time went by. The 9-headed monster was unable to stop it. A green sword light suddenly pierced through its head and broke it. That couldn't be stopped either. The head immediately grew back. The 9-headed monster madly roared, "You cannot kill me. I am going to rip you apart." After that, the 9-headed monster raised its head. It was going to jump on Ningyu. Ningyu squinted his eyes. The feathers on the peacock's train were lined up straight behind him. He became a sky full of sword lights going for the 9-headed monster. Pang! 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 The 9-headed monster tried its hardest to swing its fists, but there were more and more sword lights piercing through its body and head. Suddenly, its body and 9 heads were broken. The 9-headed monster's giant body turned into a blood mist. It did not heal itself. Holy crap! This person, who is not a guy and not a girl, is so strong. Sheep's mouth was agape in awe of the spectacle. He could not believe Ningyu, who was such a noble-looking peacock, was the same Ningyu as the one that was always a wimp. He just couldn't picture it. He was too used to seeing him cry all day long. "Let's go. We now have extra big trouble." The feathers on Ningyu's body had become wings. He prepared his body to fly up. Suddenly, he turned into a green light and disappeared into the sky. Sheep realized what was happening. He looked in Ningyu's direction and shouted, "Wait for me. Do not leave me." A green peacock feather floated down. It scared Sheep. He thought Ningyu was going to kill him. The peacock feather stopped near Sheep. It bent into a curve to carry Sheep up and away at a speed to break through space. Suddenly he flew into the sky. Very high in Mirror Lake was host to many elites fighting for their lives, but Outer Sky had more and more breakworld beasts showing up. They could not control it anymore. Yu Shanshin stepped forward. His feet moved like they were stepping on a lotus flower. He stepped on the back of a phoenix like breakworld beast. No matter how that weird bird flew, Yu Shanshin was practically attached to its back. The beast couldn't shake its rider. Although Yu Shanshin could not beat the breakworld beast, the breakworld beast could do nothing to hurt Yu Shanshin. It looks like it is my fortuitous time as the silkworm is now done, Yu Shanshin said with a sigh. He felt as if chains had been unlocked within his body. It made Yu Shanshin's body harder to touch. He followed the phoenix like breakworld beast that was flying in the sky. In the 7 kingdoms, there were many breakworld beasts. The number of breakworld beasts was less than the number invading the Geno universe. Even so, the 7 kingdoms were incurring significant damage. Fortunately, the 7 kingdoms had breakworld elites to safeguard their realms. Furthermore, they believed in god spirits. They had the protection of the god spirits. Things there were not as bad as they were in the Geno universe. The fights were not so devastating. Hansen had initially planned on flying back to the space garden, but he didn't move. Ancient Devil suddenly arrived before him. Hansen, are you interested in going to the 33 skies? Ancient Devil knew Hansen was there, which was why he looked for him. I do not have the time for that right now. After saying that, Hansen readied himself to leave. Ancient Devil asked, if we do not put the main and the reverse universal tracks back together, how many breakworld beasts do you think you will be able to kill? Plus, the targets of the life souls are not just xenogeneics. They might even possess your family and friends. Are you going to kill them too? Hansen looked at Ancient Devil and asked, what do you mean? He knew Ancient Devil was right. No matter how strong his power was, he could not kill all the life souls single-handedly. He would not be able to keep everyone he cared about safe. Ancient Devil looked at the black hole in the sky as he said, if I have guessed things correctly, Sky King must have woken up. What is Sky King's history? Hansen guessed this might have something to do with Sky King. He had only just broken the world, yet he could use many of the weapon gene races located in the soldier knife sky. Plus, Qin Xiu needing him so badly had to mean something. It was enough for Hansen to make some predictions and judgments. Back then, God Chaos Party brought down the Geno Hall. Ancient Devil said. In the end, the last God Hall leader successfully rebooted the universe. The results of doing that were far from perfect, but it was not as if it had been a useless thing to do. The universe of kingdoms' universal rules are very broken. The buffer zone between the 2 universes was split into 33 skies. That did not happen suddenly. The old leader prepared for this a long time ago. What does that mean? Hansen asked with a frown. Ancient Devil smiled. To break the supremacy of the god spirits, a new order must be built to take over. The 33 skies are the new god world the old leader wanted. After the Geno Hall was destroyed, the 33 skies were to become the center between both universes and control the process of reincarnation between all living things. It was to be beyond everything. Chapter 3309 Evacuation. You wait here. Hansen did not allow Ancient Devil to keep talking. His mind jumped, so he vanished. When Hansen's body stopped moving, he was in Space Garden. The Dongxian aura covered all of Space Garden. All of its images sprung to life. This was the time when the big snake attacked Ji Yanran. Hansen was going to save her, but he watched Linger adopt the form of her super god spirit mode and lay waste to the big and bloody snake. Knowing they were both okay, Hansen flashed his body outside of the base. He saw a cow-headed monster with demonic wings on its back. It was attacking the base. Qin Xian, Zero, Exquisite, and Moment Queen were attacking the monster that had the head of a cow. The monster with the cow head kept quaking the earth. No one was able to block its powerful attacks. The base's power collapsed. Many humans, spirits, and young men in the base were hurt. Of the elites that remained, none of them were good when it came to defenses. They were not like Lin Feng. They could barely block the assault of the monster with the head of a cow. Qin Xian and Zero were injured. The young men had never experienced a cataclysm like this before. No matter how much of a genius they were, when they were crushed like that, they could only be afraid and cry. After the monster with the head of a cow shook the ground again, there was a tsunami of earth and soil. It rose right in the base. It seemed as if no one was able to put an end to its attacks. Zero and Moment Goddess attacked from the side. They could not fight straight on. A shadow appeared in front of the base. It flicked its finger to fire a coin that stuck to the cow-headed monster's forehead. The monster with the head of a cow fell to the ground. It struggled to get back up. It was like it had been pushed down with the weight of a mountain. Hansun, Qin Xian saw the coin and understood who was coming. Mr. Dollar. The young people were shocked and happy. They finally saw the person from the legends alive and in the flesh. It was especially amazing that it happened at such a pivotal moment. They were extremely happy. Take care of our people, Hansun said to Zero and Qin Xian. He then stepped forward and disappeared into space. Although Huang Fujing and Gu Qingqing were in danger, Hansun did not go and save them. From what he was able to see, their situation was dangerous but not life-threatening. With their powers, unless the Breakworld beasts had a death wish, they could not really kill them. Hansun did not worry too much about Space Garden, so he used galaxy teleportation to reach outer sky. The situation there was far worse than it was for Space Garden. The Very High were working hard to protect the old and weak people. They were in the middle of their evacuation efforts. Even so, they were getting attacked by scary Breakworld beasts, left, right and center. Even the body of the Very High leader was soaked in blood. The sky went red. One could not tell if that was the blood of the Breakworld beasts or the Very High. Little Flower, Xie Qingqing, and the others were all in the middle of a bad fight. Xie Qingqing was badly bleeding silver blood. One of his arms fell off. His other fist was waving. Ningyu's peacock clothes had a sword light that shocked the world. He was fighting a Breakworld beast that looked like a giant god bird. Ningyu broke the world. It looks like that mysterious little green sword is better than I could have possibly comprehended. Hansun was a little bit shocked by what he was witnessing, but he did not think it was entirely right. With Ningyu's mind, even without the little green sword, he would have broken the world sooner rather than later. Little Flower fought a few Breakworld beasts, but his body had yet to bleed. He looked to be handling things very capably. Even if he didn't break the world, Little Flower was still able to suppress the Breakworld beasts thanks to his King Spirit body, along with the World King God's time and space powers. Hanyan had a sword spirit with her. A sword light was near her. She was fending off a Breakworld beast. Her super god spirit body was related to a spirit body, but this was a sword spirit body and not a body spirit. There were too many Breakworld beasts invading outer sky. Hansun was quickly able to count 20 Breakworld beasts there. He did not know how many more Breakworld beasts were lurking out there. Plus, more Breakworld beasts were emerging from outer sky. There were more and more arriving. Han Yufei was holding a strange umbrella. She was fighting a Breakworld beast. The power of the Breakworld beast was stronger than Han Yufei, but it was unable to harm her. The umbrella transformed into a laser gun. Right after that, it turned into a shield that fired wires. It looked like her nifty umbrella was able to become anything and everything. It morphed to suit the precise situation she required. Hansun watched Mr. White come out from outer sky. With every step he took, he left a footprint in the sky. He was not fighting the Breakworld beasts. Hansun did not know what he was doing, but seeing him there made him feel better about the whole situation. With Mr. White here, the Very High should be able to evacuate outer sky successfully. Hansun noticed Mr. White look his way. He gave him a salute. Seeing Mr. White nod at him, Hansun knew there would not be any more issues. He used galaxy teleportation to leave. Not long after Hansun left, Mr. White walked to the edge of the outer sky's exit. The ground shook. There was a giant light in space. It locked onto the entirety of space. The light formation was made from footprints. It sealed the exit to outer sky and blocked the Breakworld beasts that were in there. The Breakworld beasts in outer sky were furious. They tried to break the formation of light. When they struck the formation of light, they were unable to attack it. The formation of light absorbed their powers. It locked up the area even more. The Very High and many other elites felt a great swathe of relief. They looked at Mr. White with gratitude. There were many break-world beasts already in outer sky. If they all came out, all the Very High would die. They would not even be permitted to fall back. Sky Palace was undergoing chaos too. The holy gourd vine was dancing. All the gourds were flying and firing beams of holy light to destroy everything. Hansen watched the holy gourd light do that. As he did, he knew they were possessed by life souls. They had combined with a life soul, and were now breaking the world. Seeing this situation made him frown. That was not the only terrifying scene in Sky Palace. White Jade Jing was revealed in space. It was glowing with a god light. The 5 cities and 12 towers were also like that. They were surrounded by holy air. An evil light went into the sky. Many scary break-world beasts emerged from there. Hansen saw a break-world beast that looked like a flying sky demon woman. She carried a mysterious power with her. Wherever she went, things turned to jade. The dungeon that held 72 beasts opened, enabling many scary beasts to come rushing out. Their presences were very scary. They had all broken the world. Sky Palace will be unable to repel this. Hansen saw Sky Palace leader and many Sky Palace elites battling. They wanted to evacuate the students of Sky Palace, but there were too many Sky Palace students. They had many more than the Very High. It was difficult to evacuate them. Many Sky Palace students were already dead. Hansen did not hesitate. He teleported to the planet where the Rebate lived, and saw Isha fighting a break-world beast badly. She was covering the Rebate people as they left. Chapter 33 10 Student meeting a teacher. The Rebate were scared and scrambling into their airships. Many airships departed the atmosphere to escape Narrow Moon. The scary power of the break-world beasts was still descending all around them. Many airships were affected. Some of them blew up in the air, leading to the deaths of many people. Isha tried her best to battle the break-world beasts, but her power still had a way to go before she could hope to break the world. Her teeth knife power could not serrate the skin of a break-world beast and draw blood. She had no choice but to watch the break-world beasts kill countless people across Narrow Moon. Pang! An airship was hit by a shockwave unleashed by a break-world beast's tail whip. It created a big hole. The ship lost control and rolled around in the air. Many Rebate children were flung away as more kids cried helplessly inside the ship. It was a rescue ship designated to evacuate school children. The break-world beast made a happy roar. It opened its mouth wide and moved to the kids who had been flung out of the ship. It also rushed to the ship. It was going to eat the ship and the kids. Isha gnashed her teeth. She knew she would be unable to defeat such monsters, but she still raised her knife to try and attack the break-world beast. The overbearing teeth power struck the scaly armor the break-world beast was wearing. Blood went everywhere. The break-world beast opened its mouth and turned its attention to Isha. It was going to swallow her. Isha's teeth power exploded with fury. A purple and black knife air blew into the sky. It was a sign she wanted to self-destruct. Suddenly, Isha felt a power enter her body. It turned her teeth power, which was inside her body, into nothing. It angered and shocked Isha. She thought some other scary creature had just arrived. When she turned around, she realized it was Hansen who had come behind her. Hansen put his hand on her back and gently said, "Student meeting a teacher. Let your student handle this matter." After that, Hansen's strong body strolled past Isha. He went in front of her and threw a punch at the break-world beast. The powerful break-world power of the Dongxian Sutra dismembered the break-world beast. The giant monster was destroyed with one sole punch. A crystal that looked like a teardrop fell out of its remains. After witnessing this, the Rebate survivors cheered. Isha looked at Hansen's back. She did not know how to feel. What she had just seen kept replaying in her head like a movie. Back in the day, everyone had abandoned him. No one wanted to accept a crystallizer for a student. Because of a silly bet, she took him on as her own. Isha never expected, not even in a million years, that her student would turn out to be her rival Dollar. She did not expect that student would become a legend of the universe and heralded as the greatest man to exist. Now he had taken the time to save her and the Rebate. All those complicated emotions were wrestling within Isha's heart. It made her unable to formulate a sentence in response. Student. Enemy. Closest stranger. Break world beast killed. Red tail killed. Got break world gene. Hansen reached out his hand to grab the break world gene. He put it in his pocket and turned around. He bowed again and said, "Greetings, teacher." "Are you mocking me?" Isha self-deprecatingly asked. Hansen shook his head. "If had not had your care back then, I would never have earned the chance to level up and gather resources. I would not have become the man I am today, without your assistance. How could I ever forget you and your kindness? Once you became my teacher, you were forever my teacher. You are my teacher forever." "Teacher, this is not the place to speak," Hansen said to Isha. "Please take the rebate and depart Sky Palace. You cannot live here anymore. If you leave Sky Palace, your people will find greater safety. If you can, take the rebate to Space Garden. That is the safest place." Isha knew this was not the time to talk. She looked at him with a complex mixture of emotions and nodded. She returned to the rebate and commanded them to take a ship and leave. Many rebate people remembered Han's senator. Some people used to believe he was an enemy. They now looked at Hansen differently. It felt as if he was from a different world. "Things are hard to predict," a rebate king said. No one would have thought a crystallizer heir, who had been abandoned by the universe, would become one of the universe's greatest legends. There were no more breakworld beasts on the way, so Hansen went to Sky Palace. That was Sky where the worst battle was happening. He wanted to cover the Sky Palace students. Sky Palace leader and the elites were fighting the scary breakworld beasts that hailed from the White Jade Jing. Many Sky Palace elites had already been slain, so Sky Palace was raining blood. No one knew whose blood it was anymore. Hansen saw Sky Palace leader had a presence that not unlike the tide. He blocked a jade statue that looked like a flying sky demon woman. He was not losing. He had already managed to break the world. In the universe, there are people who have managed to break the world. Hansen proclaimed as a compliment. To be able to break the world in the Geno universe meant one was a very special person. This was much harder to achieve than it was in the universe of kingdoms. Sky Palace leader really was the strongest in the whole universe. Even though Sky Palace leader had already broken the world, he could not take down the many break-world beasts assaulting Sky Palace. The elites kept fighting, but it was a nasty battle. Hansen looked toward White Jade Jing's 12 buildings and 5 cities. He noticed the scary presence was getting stronger. He did not know how many terrifying creatures had combined with life souls. He knew this fight would only be a losing one. Victory did not seem possible. He covered Sky Palace and bid for them to fall back. "Leader, tell the Sky Palace students to retreat. I will take care of the rest." Hansen drew his inch-gray sword. He used the sword like a knife, prompting many knife lights to break through space. The knife lights crossed each other. The knife lights went against the sky as they headed for White Jade Jing. The break-world beasts that touched the knife lights had their limbs hacked off. Beast blood spilled everywhere. Good kid. Always coming to help people in the nick of time. Sky Palace leader was covered in blood. Even so, seeing Hansen was enough to make him joyful. White Jade Jing had too many scary creatures. The 72 killers were breaking the palace too. If Hansen had not arrived, even if they bled and became a river, they would be unable to fall back. "You hold on here. I need to see the gourds first." Sky Palace leader was not being so polite to Han's senator. He taught Hansen in the past, and he had accepted Han Yen as a student. His relationship with Hansen was a special one. "You can go. I am here." Hansen kept swinging his knife. Under the sky, knife skills created a net of knives that blocked the path from the White Jade Jing. The break-world beasts could not advance. Hansen did not have the time to kill the break-world beasts. There was not much he could do alone. When he killed the break-world beasts, there would be more lives open to being killed by break-world beasts elsewhere. All Hansen could do was block the break-world beasts to cover the retreat of the Sky Palace students, and save the lives of as many as possible. Many knife lights crossed each other. It was like there was a sky net blocking all of space. Hansen's knife lights slashed out fast. The gaps became smaller and smaller. Many break-world beasts broke the knife net wanting to rush through it, but they were only hurt by the knife net. Boom! A jade light was shining in a white jade jing. The jade light broke Hansen's knife lights. It made a hole. It was going for Han's Senator. Hansen froze. The jade light was a jade knife. It was able to create a solid power. That meant the break-world beast in white jade jing had a break-world rate of at least 30%. Chapter 33:11 I am here. Hansen looked over and saw a black jade statue walk out of white jade jing. The jade statue was just like a living thing, but its body was jade. A jade sword was attached to its waist. Before the jade sword was drawn from its scabbard, sword light began surrounding it. The black jade statue stepped out. The sword light turned into a jade sword and slashed at Han's Senator. The break-world beasts that came out from the white jade jing appeared to be afraid of the black jade statue. They all fell back. They were waiting for the black jade statue to slay Han's Senator. Hansen clutched his inch-gray sword and swung it at the jade sword. He broke the jade sword. He did not stop. He started to attack the black jade statue. The black jade statue's eyes had an evil light flicker. The jade sword on its waist came out from the scabbard. One sword sound shocked the sky and the ground. It was like a jade pillar-like sword light was breaking the sky. It went toward Hansen's inch-gray sword. Catcha! Under the sheer, unrelenting force of Hansen's sword, the jade sword and black jade statue were sliced in half. It suddenly made many break-world creatures fall back. The whole of the 5 cities and 12 buildings froze. When Hansen grabbed the black jade crystal, an announcement played in his head. Hunted break-world beast, Black King. Got Black King beast soul. Found break-world gene. Hansen's mind did not turn to focus on the break-world gene. He used all of the power in his sword to kill the Black King. He used Dongxian aura, and felt more strong presences were emerging from white jade jing like the Black King. And worse than that, many of them were far more frightening. Hansen did not dare underestimate any potential foes. Hansen was avoiding them, and the scary break-world creatures of the white jade jing were avoiding him too. After Hansen managed to kill the Black King in a single strike, the break-world beasts outside feared him. No more break-world beasts dared to emerge from white jade jing. Hansen's power alone stopped white jade jing and its scary creatures. It enabled the Sky Palace students to retreat in safety. A Sky Palace elder was soaked in blood. He had a broken arm. Before he left, he put his arm against his chest and performed the gesture of a bow to Han's Senator. No one said a word. Many of the Sky Palace elites merely walked away quietly. They were not afraid to die while fighting, but the Sky Palace students could not die there. They had to protect the students and ensure they were able to leave safely and live. Hansen did not dare leave. He stood in front of the 12 buildings of the 5 cities. Countless numbers of scary creatures were being produced, but they would not step out of white jade jing. Still, break-world beasts were all around. The break-world beasts from white jade jing had brought Sky Palace a lot of trouble. Ancient Devil is right. With my power alone, no matter how many break-world beasts I kill, I cannot protect all my family and friends. I cannot save the world. Hansen could not think of a better way to deal with all this. If he left, the scary monsters of white jade jing would keep coming. More and more people would be killed. Boom. Hansen suddenly saw a sky full of holy light explode. A giant gourd vine broke space. The holy gourds on it were glowing. They killed the break-world beasts around. Hansen watched Sky Palace leader stand atop the vine. It looked as if he had managed to tame it. Perhaps the holy vine had restored its original will, so it was no longer affected by the life soul now. Hansen was happy. The holy vine was indeed special. It was nothing compared to the break-world beasts. It had the protection of the Sky Palace leader. The Sky Palace students would live on this day. Hansen, I am taking them to go back. Can you hold the line? Sky Palace leader's voice sounded. He was able to tell Hansen was not doing so well. I am here, Hansen coldly said. You have my sword. None of them will make it through. You guys just keep going. Ha, ha, ha. Well said. Let's go. Sky Palace leader stroked the holy vine. The countless gourds on the holy vine glowed with holy light. It protected Sky Palace's ships and battleships as they flew out and departed the realm. White Jade Jing's many beasts roared to the sky. They were all jumping, wanting to get out of there. Han Sen was holding his sword. He was standing firm outside White Jade Jing all alone. No Breakworld beasts were bold enough to take a step forward. They just kept roaring where they were. A woman with white clothes stained with blood was next to Sky Palace leader. She looked at Han Sen, who looked strange next to White Jade Jing, and said, "I can't believe there would come a day the sky only survived because of his actions." "That is what is so amazing about life," Sky Palace leader said. "You never expect what happens next. From what I usually see, that is not something explicitly nice." The woman looked at the many dead Sky Palace students. After the fight, Sky Palace was pretty much destroyed. Even so, its people had mostly survived. The world has changed. We will have to change with it. If we do not want to die in silence, then we must explode. The sky never shy away from the concept of a challenge. I am sure the Sky Palace students will emerge stronger from enduring future hardships. They will be able to rule the world again. Sky Palace leader changed his tone. But right now, we need to focus on staying alive. The large and small ships were protected by the holy vine as they started to fly. All of the sky quietly looked toward White Jade Jing. There were the mysterious 12 buildings in 5 cities. There were many Breakworld beasts there, and a man was standing in front of White Jade Jing. There was also the man's sword. "Sister, he is back." Yin Suyi was tugging Yin Sushang's sleeves. When they peered at Han Sen's back, the two blushed. Yin Sushang sighed. It was great Han Sen had managed to save Sky Palace, but that meant Yin Suyi would not soon forget Han. Senator Thousand Feather Crane clenched his fists and said, "We must work harder. One day, we can reclaim Sky Palace and White Jade Jing through the strength of our own power." "Yes. One day we will take back Sky Palace," the Sky students all solemnly vowed. Even so, they all felt sad. That was the day they all lost their homes. Things like this were happening everywhere in the universe. Only one place remained quiet like dead water. In a dark red planet, Blood Legion and its many members and Human King were peering at the black hole in the sky. The main and reverse worlds have developed a crack. It appears Qinxiu is making his move. This is a stellar chance for us. Human King flickered with a weird light. "Mr. Leader, do we do it now?" a member asked. "Of course we do it now. The bridging tunnel has been opened. This is the age of chaos. Our best chance of doing it is now." Human King stood up. He led the Blood Legion members to the black hole. In the realm of the demon, one person was in the black hole. It was the demon known as Demon Alpha. The black hole Demon Alpha was in had already been there before the other black holes had appeared. The Demon Alpha did not have a reaction when the black hole showed up. Her face did not have a single emotion. She silently looked at the life soul coming out from the black hole. One life soul came to the planet of the demons. Demon Alpha waved her hand as if to carry fate. She killed the life soul. "Seeing the spirits before me, is it one of the Azura?" Demon Alpha coldly looked at the life soul that was gone. She looked disdainful. Chapter 33:12 Managerf. After covering the evacuation of Sky Palace, Han Sen went back to meet with Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil had been correct. No matter how strong he was, he could not protect the entire universe. He could only protect the people he cared about first. Han Sen cared about many people, but he did not know where most of them were. It was likely he would be unable to save them all. Han Sen returned to Ancient Devil and said, "Ancient Devil, carry on with what you were saying." Ancient Devil did not look any different. He carried on with his subject of conversation and said, "According to the old leader's plans, the 33 skies were to become the universe's core area that could control both the main and the reverse universes. If they were to control them, they would require a manager. So when they designed the 33 skies, they established the plan for a manager to operate in the 33 skies. That means they created a creature from 33 skies to become the manager. That way, they could make the 33 skies run." "Are you saying Sky King is a creature the 33 skies made?" Han Sen understood what Ancient Devil meant to say. Ancient Devil nodded. "Yes. Sky King is one of the creatures the 33 skies made. He was supposed to be the #1 manager who controlled the 33 skies. He was going to take direct orders from the old leader. That meant he would be the primary manager in the 33 skies. When the universe was rebooted, the 33 skies were affected. It created many layers in space. The creatures there were affected too. Many creatures were reincarnated like Sky King. Hearing Ancient Devil speak got Hansen to start thinking. He eventually looked at Ancient Devil and said, "If I have guessed things correctly, you are saying that the 33 skies had more than one manager like Sky King. Does that mean the 8 generals you used to have were all creatures from the 33 skies?" Ancient Devil did not deny it. He laughed and said, "You are right. The 8 generals were the creatures from the 33 skies. They had the power to protect the 33 skies. Even if they reincarnated, the talents of their souls would not be changed. The 33 skies rely on their power. I found their reincarnated selves and hope to use their powers to control the 33 skies, but controlling the 33 skies still requires them and their souls to be awoken. Right now, Sky King's soul has been awoken. If it wasn't, the 33 skies would not be like how they are now. Why must it be Sky King? Can it not be another general?" Hansen asked. "Did I not just tell you that Sky King was the creature from the 33 skies appointed with the highest level of authority?" Ancient Devil replied. "The other generals did not have a low amount of authority, but the authorities permitted were still different. To open the 33 skies, Sky King was required to be woken up." "What about Azura?" Hansen looked at Ancient Devil with eyes that were on fire. Ancient Devil shrugged his shoulders and said, "Everything is prone to accidents and things going wrong. Azura was one such accident. She is a spirit of the 33 skies. She was the manager in control of all laws." Hansen looked at Ancient Devil, wanting him to keep on talking. Ancient Devil looked like he was smiling at Hansen, but he wasn't smiling. "Do you want to keep hearing stories here, or come with me to the 33 skies and seal the holes in the universes? Can you seal them?" Hansen inquired Ancient Devil with wonder. Sky King is already awake. Although he has not totally woken up yet, the 2 paths he has opened cannot be closed easily. Even if you close them, he has what it takes to open them again. After pausing, Ancient Devil squinted his eyes and said, "If you and I cooperate, we might stand a chance. I have a way in which we can stop Sky King from opening the paths to and from." "What benefit do you get out of doing this?" Hansen asked. "You should know that I am interested in the Geno tablet. I do not want other people to fight me for it, especially a guy who can control Sky King and the God Chaos Party. With my power being what it is, I cannot fight Qin Xiao. If he enters the 33rd sky soon, I will stand no chance of stopping him." Ancient Devil was being very honest and forthright. Hansen nodded and asked, "In that case, what do you think we should do?" "Let's go to the 33 skies first," Ancient Devil said. "Without the Geno prototype replica, I can no longer return to the 33rd sky. Only you can take me there." "I can only use my spirit body to go there," Hansen said with the shake of his head. "I cannot take anything with me." He was speaking the truth. If he could take Ancient Devil with him there, he really would have done so. Ancient Devil could not touch the Geno tablet. Ancient Devil seemed to figure that was the case, so he was not surprised. He said, "That is not hard. I can use a soul coming out skill. I can enter your sea of soul. Then you can escort my spirit to the 33rd sky." "Sure," Hansen said with a nod. He watched Ancient Devil's body enter the 33 skies, so he was not surprised. "You wait here. I will find a safe spot for my body." Ancient Devil teleported away. A moment later he came back with a spirit body. Hansen opened his Sea of Soul. Ancient Devil flew inside. Seeing that Hansen's Sea of Soul had many beast souls and god spirits, Ancient Devil could not help but compliment him. "You are a human from the sanctuary. Yet by some miracle, you turned out to be so special. You have the rule power approval of the sanctuaries. I am so jealous." "What is there to be jealous about?" Hansen asked. "The sanctuaries were created by Qin Xiao and World King God. If they could make it, I think you would have been able to make something similar too," Ancient Devil coldly said. "Qin Xiao is strong, but I never fought him before. Knowing he was able to do things like this, I know why he is so unique. But if he wanted to make the sanctuaries, he should not have been able to make it then. It's not just him. Even the God Hall leader should have been unable to make something like the sanctuaries. Didn't Qin Xiu make the sanctuaries? Han Sun inquired with surprise. Of course not, Ancient Devil said with certainty. When I reincarnated in the sanctuaries did not have humans or creatures. There was no Qin Xiu or World King God either. Even if Qin Xiu created humans and creatures, that was just done after finding the sanctuaries. Through the years of my research, I learned the rules of the sanctuaries were never so simple. Its rules are like the Geno Hall. Hansen did not believe this, so he asked, "What are you saying? Are you saying the sanctuaries are on par with the Geno Hall? That is a bit hard to believe. The power people have in the sanctuaries is extremely low. How can it be considered the same as the Geno Hall?" "That is not how levels are determined," Ancient Devil said. "It's like the education of the Alliance. Primary schools are different from universities. To the Alliance, they are both as important as each other. Do you understand that?" Han Sun looked at him weirdly and said, "That means the sanctuaries and the Geno Hall are the same levels, but they just function differently. But if that is the case, what is the function of the sanctuaries?" Chapter 33:13 Symbol. If I knew, I would not have been trapped in the sanctuaries for as long as I was, Ancient Devil said with a shrug of his shoulders. While they were talking, Han Sun entered the 33rd sky. The 33rd sky was the same as before. There was one Geno tablet, and that was it. There was nothing else in that zone. There were just the black holes. Ancient Devil, how do I close the space tunnels? You are not going to tell me I need to activate the Geno tablets, are you? Han Sun released Ancient Devil from the Sea of Soul. I want to activate the Geno tablet, but you and I do not have that power. Ancient Devil looked around and asked, "Did I not tell you the 33 skies are a new god world from the old leader? And it was broken during the chaos that transpired during the reboot? It became a layer of 33 different skies. The 33 skies were supposed to be whole. How is that related to the sealing of the space tunnels?" Han Sun asked. Sky King is affecting the whole 33 skies, but the 33 skies have been broken open. His effectiveness will be weaker because of the broken layers of space. If he is totally awoken and comes over here himself, he will still be unable to pierce through the 33 skies. The black hole-like space tunnels are just some unstable gaps around the 33 skies. It is very dangerous inside. Only spirit bodies like life souls can get through them safely. If a creature with a body enters there is a high chance they will end up dead. Even Break World elites might not be able to enter such a tunnel, reach the other universe, and emerge alive. Han Sun believed that. Up until now, aside from the life souls, Han Sun did not see any universe of kingdom creatures enter the Geno universe. If they were able to go through safely, the God Chaos Party would have done something by now. Ancient Devil went on to say, "The space tunnels are just some unstable gaps. Just seal up the gaps." "How do I seal them?" Han Sun asked with a frown. Even with God spirits, which were good with space powers, it was still hard to block the space tunnel. "We need to use this Geno tablet." Ancient Devil pointed at the Geno tablet and said, "This tablet is the center of the 33 skies. When the universe rebooted, the 33 skies were broken. The tablet ended up above the 33 skies." After saying that, Ancient Devil hesitated. He then said, "The history of the Geno tablet is something I am not fully clear about. But hearing it from the old leader, this tablet is the foundation of the universe. If you can control the tablet, you can control the main and the reverse universes. Right now, we do not have the power to assert control of the tablet. With your power, maybe we can make the Geno tablet have some use. Although it is only a little, it might be enough to fill up the gaps in space." "If that is what you want me to do, then you will be disappointed," Han Sun said. "I do not have the power needed to activate the Geno tablet." "Of course you do not," Ancient Devil said. "Even back in the day, the old leader could only use a different trick to control the Geno tablet. I know the method the old leader used to assert control over the Geno tablet. It cannot accomplish something great, but it should be enough to close the gaps in space. When you activate the Geno tablet, some Geno tablet power will affect it. Even Sky King will not be able to break the 33 skies easily. You can buy yourself some time. Ancient Devil cast out a spirit light. The spirit light became an image that spoke in front of Han Sr. I recorded the method to activate a Geno tablet, Ancient Devil slowly said. You can have a look at it first. You can do it if you think it will work. Ancient Devil did not rush Han. Senator Han-sun did not believe Ancient Devil, so he examined it with great care. It was not very complicated. He only needed to use his power to leave a special symbol atop the Geno tablet. By doing that, it would affect the Geno tablet. He could not completely control the Geno tablet, but he could use it. The key was that he needed enough power to leave a mark on the Geno tablet. Ancient Devil gave him 17 special symbols. Each special symbol did different things. One of the symbols was able to fix the 33 sky spaces. That included the cracks in space. Han-sun was a bit suspicious. How could Ancient Devil be so nice and elucidate so many secrets to him? He had written down 17, which was a high number. Ancient Devil could have just told Han-sun the one symbol that was needed. He was being generous, but that made Han-sun wary of the man. Ancient Devil seemed to understand what Han-sun was thinking. He coldly said, "If you do not believe me, you can just pick a symbol and try its effect. See if I am lying to you." Han-sun lifted his lips. "So what? Would the other 16 symbols even work?" Ancient Devil smiled. "You are a very suspicious individual. Even after all these years, your personality hasn't changed a bit." "I am who I am," Han-sun said. "I live a happy life being like this. I do not need to change." "You are right." Ancient Devil nodded. "If you do not believe me, and I do not have enough power to write the symbol down on the Geno tablet, it seems like we wasted a trip." Han-sun was silent. Ancient Devil was trying to provoke him, but Han-sun had no other choice. Aside from this, there was no other way he could save the Geno universe. This was a difficult decision. This could save the universe or have Han-sun stumble into a trap concocted by Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil did not seem to worry. He smiled at Han. Senator Han-sun looked at Ancient Devil and asked, "Are you not afraid I will kill your spirit and draw the symbol down?" "That is not who you are," Ancient Devil coldly said. "If you wanted to kill me, you would not have kept me trapped inside Destiny's Tower." Han-sun nodded. "If you knew that, you should have been prepared. Why don't you tell me? With your power, you can trap my soul. You can trap my soul first. When the Geno tablet works and proves my earnestness, you can let me go." Ancient Devil wanted to be jailed. "Good. In that case, stay in my Sea of Soul and take a rest." Han-sun opened his Sea of Soul. He did not force Ancient Devil to go inside. He quietly looked at him. Ancient Devil smiled. He walked into Han-sun's Sea of Soul and sat in space. Han-sun saw Ancient Devil enter his Sea of Soul. He decided to stop hesitating. His super god spirit body power exploded. He lifted his finger and drew on the Geno tablet. Life souls kept going to the Geno universe through the black holes. The more he delayed, the more life souls were able to enter. Han-sun could not wait any longer. Chapter 33:14 Trapped in the 33rd sky. The super god spirit body power did not disappoint Han. Senator his finger pressed into the stone tablet. It was just an inch, but it was enough. In Han Sen's brain, a mysterious symbol was being revealed. Han Sen's finger moved to its shape. He slowly drew a replica of the symbol atop the stone tablet. It was just a line that was 3 inches long. It made Han Sen feel his spirit body had gone bad. He had spent an awful amount of power. He was a little worried about being able to complete the entire drawing of the symbol on the tablet. The Geno tablet's text lit up. It kept releasing mysterious thoughts. It was like it was trying to tell Han Sen he did not have permission to activate the Geno tablet. Han Sen did not care. His fingers continued to draw across the Geno tablet. His body's power was being amassed on the tip of his finger. It drew a lot of finger marks for a while. The symbol was not complicated. There were 7 of them, but none of the lines were straight. They were all curved. 7 lines crossed each other to create a mysterious symbol. As Han Sen's finger kept drawing on the stone tablet, his spirit body became dimmer. After drawing 7 times, his spirit body was transparent and crystal clear. It was going to fade away. At last I have drawn it all. Han Sen did not relax. He stared at the Geno tablet symbol. When the symbol was on its final drawing, the very normal symbol suddenly started to glow with light. It created some sort of rhythm that was sort of ancient. When the symbols were shining in the Geno tablet, the whole of the 33 skies shook. The space in the black hole started to become smaller. It really is useful. Han Sen was delighted about this. In the God Chaos Party, Qin Xiu frowned. Shoot Shadow and the others were all shocked. How could things turn out like this? The space tunnels are suddenly disappearing. Qin Xiu stepped forward. He came before an altar. Sky King was trapped at the center of the altar. His entire body was releasing a weird power. That power kept melting into the altar. And the altar's power was affecting the whole of the 33 skies. Sky King's power has not been reduced. Why would the space tunnel just vanish? Qin Xiu frowned and retreated into thought. He could not formulate a reason for why this was happening. The black holes of the 2 universes were getting smaller very quickly. The black holes were disappearing. The life souls that did not enter the Geno universe were blocked outside. They went back to the universe of kingdoms. Han Sen saw the black holes were disappearing and felt a bit relieved. Although the situation in the Geno universe was bad, it was better than having many more life souls pouring in. The Geno tablet symbols were still shining with light. Compared to before, the light was dimmer. Han Sen noticed the stone tablet's markings were slowly healing. Ancient Devil. Why is the mark slowly recovering? Han Sen was looking at the Sea of Soul and Ancient Devil, who was within it. This tablet is called the foundation of the universe. Ancient Devil coldly said. Even if the universe was destroyed, this would not be destroyed. To leave words on it is very hard. Do you want it to be there forever? Even when the old leader left symbols on it, his graffiti did not last on it forever. His would only have lasted a bit longer than yours. If you want to continue suppressing Sky King's power, you need to wait until the symbol is gone for a while. Then, you need to write the symbol on the tablet again. Writing down the symbol cost me a lot of power the first time, Han Sen coldly said. The speed of it disappearing is faster than what I recover. If I keep drawing it back on, I will be unable to do anything else. I will be stuck in the 33rd sky forever. Ancient Devil smiled and said, No one is forcing you. If you want to leave, no one can keep you here. Han Sen smiled. It is no wonder why you were the vice president of the God Chaos Party. You set me up with this, wanting to keep me trapped here. I cannot find the problem you had. It is not like that. If this was not for me, there would be no other that could sort out the problem in the Geno universe. We needed each other for this. You should be thanking me just as much. Ancient Devil smiled. I suppose you are right. Han Sen released Ancient Devil. Ancient Devil wanted to use the Geno tablet, but he had to stop Qin Xiu from coming to the 33rd sky. If he did that, Ancient Devil could live longer. Otherwise, Han Sen would not let him go. After Ancient Devil emerged, he smiled at Han Sen and said, You and I have the same foe. We should be friends. Having a friend like you makes me pretty scared, Han Sen said with a smile. Ancient Devil shook his head and said, You are not afraid of me. If you were afraid of me, you would not have set me free. You and I are the same. We are scared of Qin Xiu. And that is because we play the game by its rules. We play games by abiding by the rules. We don't cross lines and break the rules. So no matter how strong you are, I am not afraid of you. Qin Xiu is different. He always does things by breaking the rules. People like that are the scariest ones there are. It is not because of how strong he is. It is because people like that can never have their intentions guessed. You never know what they plan to do. Han Sen knew Ancient Devil was correct. People who followed the rules weren't scary. That was because everyone knew the rules. If they did not cross the line, no matter how strong they were, no one had to fear them. Qin Xiu was different. He did not have those lines. He could do anything he wanted to. Plus, people with as much power as him were the scariest. While the symbol has not disappeared yet, can you send me out of the 33rd sky? Ancient Devil asked with a bow. Fine. Hansen sent Ancient Devil out of the 33rd sky. Hansen did not know if Ancient Devil would follow the rules, but Hansen knew Ancient Devil would want to get the Geno tablet for himself. That was what Qinxiu wanted to, and that was enough for him. After he sent Ancient Devil out of the 33rd sky, Hansen returned to the Geno tablet. The black hole in the Geno universe had almost shut down. The symbol on the tablet had become lighter. Hansen thought the symbol would only last a few days. If he did not draw a new symbol by then, Sky King could open the space crack again. Hansen frowned and thought, a few days is just enough for me to recover my spirit power. Ancient Devil used him to go against Qinxiu, and he had trapped him there. That was him removing 2 birds with 1 stone. They are vice presidents. Big Sky Demon should know something about this Geno tablet. Hansen got his body back. He sat at the bottom of the Geno tablet. He relaxed and went to sleep. My dear, you are very cruel. You have only come to see me now. Big Sky Demon looked a bit angry in Hansen's dream. She put her arms around him from behind. She brought her cheeks up to his face. After she had been injured, she was happy to live in Hansen's dreams. If Hansen did not dream, she would not show up, but she could not leave. Hansen had not slept in a long time. So Big Sky Demon had been trapped in his head, unaware of what was going on. Chapter 33:15 Backlash. If you are interested, you can have a look at what is out there, Hansen said to Big Sky Demon. Are you trying to trick me out of your dream? That is not going to work, my dear. I want to go into your dreams and do it whenever. You cannot stop me. Big Sky Demon's fingers stroked Hansen's cheek as she spoke. You do not have to say that yet, Hansen said. Go out and take a look first. If you do not leave, then I will. Big Sky Demon could tell Hansen was not fooling around, so she smiled and asked, what are you being so mysterious about? Just go out and take a look for yourself. After Hansen said that, he readied himself to depart the dreamscape. He was not really in the mood to joke around with Big Sky Demon. Big Sky Demon flew out of Hansen's dream. When Hansen awoke from the dream, she would have to wait until Hansen went to sleep again before entering his dreams. When Big Sky Demon came out, she smiled and asked Hansen, what do you want me to see? After she saw what was needed to be seen, she froze on the spot. In the next second, Big Sky Demon madly screamed, the Geno tablet. This is the 33rd sky. What are you doing here? It looks like you recognize the Geno tablet. Hansen looked at Big Sky Demon and asked, do you mind telling me what this is? Big Sky Demon looked calm, but her face still looked shocked. The Geno tablet is the leader's most cherished gift. It is the foundation of a new god world. After the chaos that came about the rebooting, this tablet was in the 33rd sky. After saying that much, Big Sky Demon stopped talking. She strangely looked at the Geno tablet. She saw Hansen leave a spell behind, which shocked her. She screamed, a Geno spell. Did Mr. Leader come back to the world? Big Sky Demon immediately noticed there was something wrong. She shook her head and said, no, this Gene spell has been drawn differently compared to Mr. Leader's. This is very light. It is not from Mr. Leader's fingers. I drew it, Hansen said. You. Big Sky Demon looked at Hansen strangely. How could you go to the 33rd sky and learn how to perform a Geno spell? Hansen did not hide a thing. He explained what had been going on. As Big Sky Demon listened to Hansen's tale, her face morphed and cycled through various expressions. When Hansen was done talking, Big Sky Demon maintained a deep frowning. She didn't say a word. A while later, Big Sky Demon said, Ancient Devil has good luck. He reincarnated and managed to break the world. The Geno spell he has taught you is correct. There is nothing wrong with it, but what? Hansen's heart jumped. Without a reboot class power, you cannot activate the Geno tablet, Big Sky Demon said as she looked at Han Sr. If you want to leave a mark on the Geno tablet permanently, You will need to reach a 95% break world rate. Your break world rate is not high, so I am surprised you have managed to leave a mark on it at all. I have a power that makes my body become a spirit. I use the spirit body to place down a mark. It is easier that way. Hansen looked at Big Sky Demon and said, "But what you meant wasn't about that." Big Sky Demon looked at Hansen weirdly. "What I wanted to say was that if you did not activate the Geno tablet and drew a Geno spell on it, you would suffer the Geno tablet's backlash power. Your body is very strong, but your break world rate is too low. I do not know if you can sustain the power of the Geno tablet strike." Backlash? I do not feel anything uncomfortable on my body. Hansen checked out his body. He did not see or feel any problems. Big Sky Demon shook her head and said, "It is because the Geno tablet's backlash power has not come yet. Even though Mr. Leader's body was strong, not even he could avoid it. The Geno tablet could not do anything to him." After she said that, Big Sky Demon pointed at the symbol drawn on the Geno tablet by Hansen and said, "When the symbol goes away, that is the time you will be forced to endure the backlash. If I draw another spell before the Geno spell is gone, can I avoid the backlash?" Hansen asked. "Of course not," Big Sky Demon confidently said. "Even if you draw it in the same place, it is pointless." "What are the consequences of the backlash?" Hansen quietly asked. Big Sky Demon did not answer Hans Senator. She looked at the Geno tablet. She then looked back at Hans Senator. She smiled weirdly and said, "Actually, the Geno tablet's backlash power is not much of a big deal. Maybe it will not hurt you. Maybe it will do you good." "What makes you say that?" Hansen asked with a frown. Big Sky Demon smiled and said, "The Geno tablet is the universe's foundation. There are countless gene messages. It is the foundation of the gene messages in the universe. Its backlash power is the invasion of a gene message." When Hansen heard that, his face changed. Other people might not know how scary the invasion of gene messages was, but he did. After all, he had interacted with many gene test subjects. Big Sky Demon smiled and went on to say, "If you are lucky, maybe the gene messages that come to you will gift you a boon. You might receive rabbit ears, the wings of a hawk, the paws of a bear, the nose of a dog, and so on." Hansen knew Big Sky Demon was not just trying to scare him. This was likely the best result. If the Geno tablet really was the universe's gene message, the gene message invasion could turn Hansen into a dog, cat, or monster with 100 legs, 1,000 arms, and 10 brains. If Hansen's gene message was not stable, he could become any sort of monster after being invaded. Although the invasion of a gene message was not that bad, it might be a powerful gene message invasion. It would make Hansen's body stronger, but there were too many random variables. No one would have wanted to take that kind of risk. Ancient Devil, that asshole. Hansen gnashed his teeth. He knew now that he had been tricked by Ancient Devil. Even if he had a chance to do things over, Hansen would have done the same thing. He knew the risks, but he would still carve the Geno spell into the Geno tablet. Big Sky Demon stopped smiling. She looked at Hansen for a while. Hansen felt a bit uncomfortable. He felt like a monkey being looked at in a zoo. "What are you looking at? Just spill the beans already." Hansen frowned. Big Sky Demon frowned. "I know some Geno spells, and the Geno spells I know are better than the ones Ancient Devil knows. Would you like to try them? Do I look stupid to you?" Hansen pointed to his nose. He knew he would get backlash from the Geno tablet. Hansen would not draw anything more on the Geno tablet. He trusted the solidness of his genes, but he did not need to risk a death wish. Big Sky Demon said, "My Geno spell is a complete password. With this password, the Geno tablet will be returned to its original self, the 33 skies will be repaired, and the space cracks will not happen again. Even if Sky King's son awakened, he would be unable to break the 33 skies." But Hansen realized he hated the word but. Just hearing it gave him a headache. Chapter 33:16 really backlashed. Hansen noticed that Big Sky Demon stopped talking, so he asked the obvious, "But what?" "This password is something only 3 people in the entire universe know. The other two are long gone. Do you really think you are going to get this precious password from me all for free? Big Sky Demon smiled and looked at Han Sr. If you really don't want to tell me, that's fine. I do not know if your password is true or not. Even if it is true, I drew one Geno spell and lost all my power because of it. I cannot complete the Gene password. Even if I knew it, it would be useless. Hansen put his arms out and shrugged as he spoke. Just because you can't do it now does not mean you can't do it later. Plus you are a man. How can you say you can't do it? Big Sky Demon looked at Hansen and smiled. You can't try to provoke me. You are not going to tell me anyway. Hansen looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of hot water. Big Sky Demon sighed. You are so hard to deal with, but you are my little lover. Therefore, I can tell you the password. There is something you should know, however. If the password is written down on the Geno tablet, the whole Geno tablet will reset the 33 skies. The entirety of the 33 skies will change. All of the creatures in the 33 skies will be affected. Unless using it is an absolute must, you should think long and hard before deciding what to do with it. What kind of effects are we talking about? Hansen asked. Hansen did not really care about other creatures, but he was in the 33 skies too. He might end up being affected. I have never tried it before. How am I supposed to know? I will tell you the password, but it is up to you whether or not it is used. If something goes wrong, you can't take it out on me. Big Sky Demon's words were said to shirk all responsibility. You don't know? In that case, how do you know anything will be affected? Hansen looked at her untrustingly. Big Sky Demon slumped her shoulders and said, Mr. Leader told me. He is the one who told me the password and informed me about what would happen if it was used. If you really want to know the specifics, you should consider asking the leader himself. How am I supposed to know where to find your leader? Hansen had a wry smile. That is no concern of mine, Big Sky Demon said. She put out her finger and drew 24 symbols in the air. These 24 symbols are the passwords needed to unlock the Geno tablet's return to origin. You can put it down anywhere on the tablet. It can be in any order as well. But you must remember that the order of your writing of it cannot be changed. Otherwise, the password will not work. After Big Sky Demon said that, she waved her hand to erase the 24 symbols. It was just 24 symbols, so Hansen was able to recognize them all with ease. The order in which he remembered them would not be wrong either. Even so, Hansen did not dare risk believing Big Sky Demon. Who knew if the Geno password, those 24 words, would be as useful as she was claiming them to be. I have told you the password, Big Sky Demon said. It is now up to you how you use it. My wounds have not yet recovered, so I will be requiring more rest. She was like a nightmare entering Hansen's body. She then vanished. Did she really just leave like that? Hansen frowned. People like Ancient Devil and Big Sky Demon would not really force anyone to do anything, but most of the time, one had to do what they said anyway. That was why they were such scary people. Hansen was not planning on using Big Sky Demon's password since he did not know what would happen. If what Big Sky Demon had told him was true, the Geno tablet would give him Backlash. With Hansen's Super God Spirit mode, and the power of the story of genes, he was not afraid of a gene message invading his body. Still, it was always a good thing to harbor doubt. Plus, Hansen did not think he required the password just yet. Hansen sat against the Geno tablet's bottom. He kept using Geno arts to recover his power. He waited to see if the words would fully disappear. He wanted to see if he would get Backlash. Plus, if he did not keep drawing symbols on the Geno tablet, Sky King might end up being able to open the holes in space again. Time went by. As his mark started to lighten, its lights grew dimmer. Before the Geno spell wholly disappeared, Hansen understood that Ancient Devil was right. When the Geno spell symbols were not clear, the universe had black dots again. It was the black holes reawakening. This is bad. Me being fully recovered, power-wise, aligns perfectly with the time it takes for the spell to fade, and my need to renew it comes. Does that mean I will be trapped here unable to do anything else? Hansen frowned. That was not what he was worried about the most. Even if he wanted to keep the Geno spell in place, there were still a few days he had to freely go around. He just had to come back and top up the Geno spell every few days. If he did not get into a fight or spend any energy, Hansen would be fine. Big Sky Demon had mentioned something to him about a backlash. It made Hansen nervous. While the Geno spell had not gone yet, Hansen used his Super God Spirit mode. He drew a Geno spell on the stone tablet. He then cast a Geno art to recover power. He was going to accept the backlash if it came for him. I hope the story of Gene's forever solid power can prohibit the invasion of genes in my body, Hansen thought. An hour went by. The first Geno spell finally disappeared. Hansen did not feel as if there was a gene invasion. He thought, was Big Sky Demon just yanking my chain? While he was thinking, where Hansen had written down the Geno spell on the Geno tablet spell lit up. The light was like a fairy leaping out from the tablet. It flew to Senator Hansen gathered up power to hit the light spell. But the light spell was like something unreal. His power was unable to touch it. The light spell was very fast. It landed on Hansen's forehead. He had been unable to avoid it. Hansen was very shocked. He only required one thought to instantly travel very fast. He could go 1,000 miles in the blink of an eye, yet his reactions had not been fast enough. He had a very bad feeling. He cast the story of genes and had his whole body run its forever solid power. According to theory, forever solid meant one's gene messages could not be altered. In front of that mysterious Geno tablet, Hansen was not so sure it would still apply. The light spell landed on Hansen's forehead. It looked as if it melted into his skin. Hansen felt his entire body burn with what felt like fire. His blood started to boil. The backlash is real. Hansen felt his cells burn like steel. They were melting. A weird power was going into him. He could not describe it. It made Hansen feel either upset or pain. Chapter 33:17 Getting inside the Geno table. Hansen felt bad. The story of Gene's forever solid power could not prohibit the invasion of the gene messages. Hansen noticed his body was exhibiting many weird changes. Some little red hairs started to develop on his skin. It was like his hair had turned red. He stopped hesitating. He opened his Super God Spirit mode, which enabled his body to turn into a spirit body that looked like nothing. The boiling feeling within his body disappeared. It was gone, but many light dots still flickered across Hansen's spirit body. It lost the body's support, so the points of light fell away. They became the light spell Hansen had seen before. The light spells could no longer find their target. They flickered and returned to the Geno tablet. They disappeared. Hansen sighed. He thought it would be over. Suddenly, the Geno tablet started to glow. The two words, Geno tablet, looked like a sun in the sky. They were glowing very brightly. It was like Hansen's Super God Spirit mode was meeting a strong magnet. It was sucked against the Geno tablet. Hansen tried his best to fight back, but it did not work. His body hit the Geno tablet. Hansen, via reflex, used his hands to protect his head and brace for the strong impact against the stone. Surprisingly, he did not feel any pain. It did not feel as if he was going to strike anything from being pulled. His body was pulled inside the Geno tablet. It felt as if he was going into a pool of water. It was like he wasn't hitting the stone tablet at all. It was like a lake. Hansen's entire body was submerged in it. Hansen opened his eyes with shock. He noticed it was a galaxy that was like a sea of stars. Countless stars were flickering. It was like a sea. It created some beautiful star swirls and star waves. As Hansen took a closer look, the stars looked weird. The stars had a connection with a wire that looked like it was there, but it was not there. It created a weird chain of stars. Hansen was shocked. Does it mean these stars are the basis of the star chains? If the stars in the universe are the basic chain of a gene chain, does that mean the whole universe is like a life force? How great such a life might be. Hansen only had that idea for a second. The possibility for that being true was quite low. Hansen just randomly had that idea. It was just an idea. He could not believe something like that could actually happen. Even if the universe really was a life force, that would be a completely different life force compared to ordinary life. Hansen thought, this should be the interior of the Geno tablet. What did the Geno tablet pull me inside for? His body had been sucked in by the power. He went through oceans of stars. He kept going through the star sea, descending deeper into it all. Hansen did not know how long he had been flying inside that endless expanse of space. He saw many stars and wires that looked like they were there, but they were not there. The wires connected the stars and gave them a weird shape. It was completely different. The stars and the wires there did not look like they had a rhythm, but they looked very peaceful. Suddenly, Hansen's eyes looked bright. The sharp light made him subconsciously use his hands to shield his eyes. When his eyes got used to that light, he put his hands down. Upon witnessing what was before him, Hansen's eyes opened wide. He saw a giant planet at the center of the countless stars. The planet looked very odd. It was like there was a transparent crystal layer covering the ocean. Through the crystal, one could see the liquid. There was also a shadow that looked like it was something, but it was not something. The weird planet was becoming smaller, yet expanding with rhythmic order. It was like a heart that was beating. The giant planet gave Hansen the feeling that it was like. Hansen was shocked. He screamed. Why does it look like a fetus? When Hansen came before that weird planet, the strong magnetic force stopped. It was not all gone though. Hansen's body remained floating in front of the large planet. He did not know if he was mistaken, but Hansen felt that inside the weird planet, beyond the crystal layer and inside the liquid ocean, there was an eye staring back at him. What a shame. You are not the life we have been waiting for. A voice played in Hansen's brain. Yes, it was a voice that sounded in his brain. It did not come through his ears to his brain. It would have made anyone feel weird. Who are you? Hansen calmly asked. I am me. You can call me the Geno tablet. The voice was there again. It went on to say, you are the third life force to come here, but you are still not the one I have been waiting for. Hansen's heart jumped. He asked, who are you waiting for? I do not know, the voice replied. What does that mean? What do you mean you don't know? Hansen was curious about this. That was both his pro and con. I do not know how to explain to you what that life force is. Even if I told you his gene message, with your life and layer, you cannot compare to those gene messages. It will be hard for me to confirm his identity to you. Although it sounded very cocky, it did not make Hansen feel as if the Geno tablet was being cocky. It looked as if it was speaking the truth. In that case he must have a name, Hansen said. A name? Do you mean a title? The voice asked. Yes, Hansen replied. If it's just a title you are looking for, I remember his name was Chaos. Chaos. Hansen frowned. He had never heard of a person with that name before, but he was no stranger to the meaning behind the name. His heart jumped. Chaos. God Chaos Party. It cannot be the leader of the God Chaos Party, can it? He did call himself a leader of a God Chaos Party or something. The voice sounded in Hansen's head again. It shocked him. Because he was thinking in his head, he did not speak. Yet, that voice seemed to be able to read his mind. Do not be shocked, the voice calmly said. Here, I can see all the gene messages from life forces. You can use your language or your thoughts. It does not make a difference. I am the third life that came here. So who were the other two that arrived here first? Hansen did not care about the Geno tablet being able to read his mind. If it is just a title you are looking for, the title of the first one who came here was someone called God. The Geno tablet answered. Hansen thought. A guy who calls himself God. Is he the Geno Hall leader? Is it the leader right now or the leader from before? I assume it would be the leader from before. This time the Geno tablet did not reply to what Hansen thought. It went on to say, the second person who came here called himself a Wu Wei Dao person. When Hansen heard that, he was shocked. A Wu Wei Dao person? Is that the Wu Wei Dao Alpha from Wu Wei Dao Palace? I think he said he came from the Wu Wei Dao Palace, the Geno tablet said. Hansen tried to contain his excitement as he asked, what was he doing here? Chapter 33 18 Cheating Geno Table. God said, he was here looking for someone. The Geno tablet's voice did not have any emotion in it. Who was he looking for? Hansen asked. He did not say, the Geno tablet replied. What about the Wu Wei Dao person? What was he doing here? Hansen asked. He said he came here to kill someone, the Geno tablet said. It made Hansen frown. Who was he going to kill? Hansen asked. He did not say, the Geno tablet quickly replied. Hansen frowned even deeper. Not many people could actually gain access to that place. Even if Hansen had achieved it, he was only the third person to do so. That meant whoever God was looking for was not residing in this place. The Wu Wei Dao person might have had the same target as God. Perhaps he wanted to kill God. Hansen could not confirm any of these theories. Where did God and the Wu Wei Dao person go? Hansen asked. They left, the Geno tablet emotionlessly said. They were not the creatures I wanted, so they were not permitted to stay. I am not the creature you were waiting for either. Can I leave now? When Hansen heard that God and the Wu Wei Dao person were gone, he felt relieved and thought, it looks like this Geno tablet is a pacifist. He is not going to trouble me. No. The Geno tablet's answer made Hansen jump. Why? Hansen sadly asked. You destroyed the Geno Message Foundation, the Geno tablet said. The Geno messages that were split up have to be taken by you. Otherwise, it will be very bad for the universe. Does it have to be like that? Is there no other way? Hansen asked with a wry smile. He did not want to become a monster. The red hair he had grown made his head itch. If he grew a few more eyes or a few more arms on his head or something, Hansen would have much preferred to die. Yes. The Geno tablet's answer gave Hansen a glimmer of hope to latch onto. What the Geno tablet said next made Hansen depressed. If you can control the Geno tablet, you can rebuild the Geno message. If he was able to control the Geno tablet, he would not have been pulled inside to consult with the Geno tablet and speak to it like a prisoner. If you can't, then use your body, which has already been split up, and give it up to the gene messages. When the Geno tablet spoke, a star spell flew over. Hansen now saw what the light spells looked like. The light spells were made of stars and lights. They were a part of the ocean of stars. Hansen had left a mark on the Geno tablet earlier. He cut a part of the star seas away. That was a part of the light spell. Hansen's body was crushed by the Geno tablet's power. He was made unable to move. He let the light spell land on him. Because his body was in Super God Spirit mode, the light spells went through his body. They entered his body, but they could not melt and become one with Hansen's genes. Hansen was delighted when he found out the light spells could do nothing to his body. He suddenly saw that the giant, weird planet looked like a soft animal twisting. It gave birth to a tentacle that came lashing toward Hansen's spirit body. The Geno tablet said, your genes can contain super gene features, but it is not a real super gene. Fake genes are fake genes. They will never be the real super genes. Then, the tentacle wrapped around Hansen's body. Hansen felt as if he was being electrified. His body was suddenly tremoring. His spirit body was changing. He was going to exit his super god spirit mode. When his spirit body became a body again, the light spell melted into Hansen's body. He could feel his blood boil. It felt like his body was being cooked. Damn it! Hansen wanted to enter super god spirit mode again. When his body started to become a spirit body, the tentacles electrocuted him again. It made Hansen's spirit body become an average body. Hansen tried to reverse it many times, but it failed without a single sign of success. All he felt was increased pain. Cheating Geno tablet. Hansen cursed it. He gave up trying to enter his super god spirit mode. He used his power to cast a few Geno arts. The Blood Pulse Sutra's break world power made the gene messages assimilation with his body proceed slower. Even so, it was only slower. Although Jade Skin broke the world and provided him with a holy body, it was unable to stop the invasion of the gene messages. When the Dongxian Sutra broke the world, it only analyzed the gene messages. It could not stop a thing. The story of genes was madly running, but Forever Solid was not very useful. Hansen gnashed his teeth and reversed the story of genes. After his body had mutated last time, he was able to use the reverse the story of genes. Yet he could not put the main and the reverse the story of genes and combine them. He could not break the world. Hansen gnashed his teeth and tried to do that anyway. The Geno tablet's gene messages were not too strong, but Hansen could not fight the Geno tablet's power. The destructive power spread throughout Hansen's body. At the same time, the forever solid power melted in his body. The two powers clashed against each other. It made Hansen's body start to develop changes that could very well flip the sky and the ground. His flesh was torn from his body, but it was instantly healed. It was then ripped from his body again. Once more he was instantly healed. His bones broke inch by inch, but would then repair themselves inch by inch as well. One could not imagine that pain. It was like the substance of his body was being broken and rebuilt. Roar. Hansen could not endure the pain any longer. He started to roar like an animal. He did it to release the pain that was driving him insane. His body entered xenogenic mode. Xenogenic mode did not provide him with enough power to make his body enter spirit body mode, but the four Geno arts and their break world powers made things like water melting into plastic. Things started to change. Hansen's body started to exhibit changes. His body looked like bone and flesh. Even his organs glowed with holy light. It was the purest body possible that did not have a single speck of dirt or dust. In that pure body, the red blood flowed. It was like a blood river was running, roaring and boiling. Wherever it went, it brought a lot of energy. That holy body was like flesh growing. It slowly created a set of black armor. Hansen's body was slowly wrapped up inside the shelter of a set of armor. Almost at the same time, a destructive and forever scary power was wrapping up Hansen's body. It made his xenogenic body suddenly look like an erupting volcano. The gene messages that invaded Hansen's body were destroyed by the scary power. They turned into nothingness. Within that explosion, Hansen's xenogenic body started to change. It was like a crab molting its shell or a silkworm breaking through its cocoon. Chapter 33 1901 Knife. 24 spells. The story of genes brought a break-world power that completely destroyed the gene messages. The Geno tablet that originally suppressed his body relinquished its control. Hansen was let free. The Dongxian armor generated a black set of armor, but it was burning with a white flame. Black and white, the two colors, made a strong contrast. How can the genes of your body produce such grand changes? The emotionless Geno tablet made some unexpected confusing sounds. It was as if it was unable to understand. Hansen was no longer in the mood to talk nonsense with it. After his body was freed, he wanted to use his galaxy teleportation to get out of the Geno tablet. No matter which direction he went or how far he went, all he could see was an endless sea of stars. It was like that place was incredibly big. The Geno tablet's sounds were in Hansen's head again. Weird. The genes of your body have the shadow of a super gene, but it is just a replica of the real thing. The Geno arts you practice are still on a testing level. They have great flaws, yet they can make the genes of your body evolve to this level. How could this have happened? Along with the Geno tablet's voice, numerous tentacles were emerging in the sea of stars. They came racing toward Hansen. His xenogenic body's speed was not enough to avoid the tentacles. His body was quickly snared. The power, which looked like electricity, came crackling out of the appendages. They made Hansen feel as if his body was quaking. He immediately released the story of Gene's break-world power. Under the explosion of white flames, it made Hansen's body suddenly feel as if he had an unlimited amount of power. Jadeskin's break-world power was buffed by the story of genes. It made it clearer. It made Hansen's genes more stable. The electricity from the tentacles could no longer get into his body. Good. Hansen was very happy. He cast the Dongxian Sutra's break-world power. The structure of the tentacles, which he could not analyze before, were now able to be seen via his eyes. Super spank. Dongxian Sutra's break-world power exploded. It made the tentacles capturing Hansen shatter. The story of Gene's break-world power was not special by itself, but it greatly improved the three Geno arts in Hansen's body. It was like his body had become extra strong because of it. That was especially true of his xenogenic mode. It worked on his body but on the three Geno arts more. The Geno tablet's voice sounded again. You are truly a very weird creature. Your soul genes are not strong, but the fact you can evolve to this level is truly remarkable. This time, the weird, giant planet appeared. It was impossible to tell where it came from, but it was now directly in front of Han Senator. The giant planet twisted in its spot as a countless number of transparent tentacles came wriggling out to snare Han Senator. He was able to break each and every one of the tentacles. Even so, it only led to the development of more coming his way. They lecherously wished to snatch up his body. When they grabbed a hold of him, they yanked him into the planet. Light flickered across the tentacles. It was like there was a substance going into Hansen's body, but the jade-skin-looking body shut them out. Hansen tried his best to destroy the tentacles, but the tentacles were simply endless. Very interesting genes. Although you are not the life I wanted, such an interesting life and genes could make you suitable for becoming a part of my body. When Hansen heard that, his body froze. Something was latching onto his back, but he didn't know what it was. Some weird bones were coming out of his back to lock up Han Senator from afar. Hansen looked as if he had been snared by a skeleton. Arg! Hansen's body was locked up by a skeleton. He could not move freely. It felt as if the skeleton was sticking needles into his body. The Super God Spirit Mode. Hansen used his Super God Spirit Mode. He wanted to use his spirit body to shake off the skeleton that had him in its grip. Nothing he tried seemed to work. His spirit body was firmly snared by the skeleton, and he was unable to escape it. The bones inside his body were like syringes stripping him of his power. Interesting genes. I cannot believe that you are an ordinary soul gene, and have been able to evolve a gene to this level. A voice came from the skeleton. It sounded exactly like the voice Hansen had been listening to earlier. Who on earth are you? Hansen used his super spank power. He could not free himself from the clutch of the skeleton. I told you that I am the Geno tablet, the Geno tablet said as its voice returned. In that case, why are you here waiting for the leader of the God Chaos Party? Hansen held himself strong against the pain that was pulling the marrow from his bones. He gnashed his teeth. Hansen was curious, but he was not that curious in a life-and-death moment. The reason he asked that was purely because he wished to make an important decision. He is the real master here, the Geno tablet replied. It is my job to wait for him to come back in command. There is no why. Hansen was depressed. People could come there to be a boss, but he was there to have his genes stolen by the Geno tablet. That was a bad sort of treatment. The Geno tablet's reply gave Hansen an answer to a private decision. I hope Big Sky Demon did not lie to me. Hansen gnashed his teeth. He gathered up power in his finger, and used it like a knife. He went into the Sea of Stars. The endless Sea of Stars was the Geno tablet. Carving into the Sea of Stars was basically carving into the Geno tablet. Hansen could not get rid of the Geno tablet, so he had to risk the 24-spell password that Big Sky Demon had given him. If God Chaos Party leader was the master of the Geno tablet, and if the 24-spell password was real, it would work on the Geno tablet. Knife light appeared on Hansen's middle finger. He used Super Spank to slash the Sea of Stars. He left many knife marks across the Sea of Stars. The knife marks were messed up. They did not make the password. Stop wasting your breath. The Geno tablet's voice sounded in Hansen's ear. I am connected to the universe, and I am a part of it. It should be an honor for you to become a part of my body. I do not want any honor. All I want is to kill you. Hansen gnashed his teeth. His body tremored. The pain of having his power being taken away was not something ordinary people could endure. Death is pointless for me, and your power is useless at trying to destroy the Geno tablet, the Geno tablet explained. Unless the universe itself is destroyed, the Geno tablet will recover. Oh yeah? Well, how about this? Hansen asked. His middle finger arose. A scary knife light landed across the Sea of Stars. He slashed a big knife mark across the Sea of Stars. After that slash, all the messed up knife marks Hansen had unleashed came back. Earlier, it might have looked like he was doodling. Now it had all come together to compose a spell. Hansen added the last slash on every password. It lit up. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.